Warning. The Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Please be aware that this episode will contain spoilers for the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 and may contain spoilers for other anime series, so be careful if you haven't finished them. Lastly, the views and opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect those of the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Alright, it's been a long week, but I'm ready to kick back and relax, listen to an anime podcast with a bucket of chicken fingers. These chicken fingers taste a little chewy. It's kind of weird. Man, they need to be about to take the bones out of these. I mean, come on, guys. They're chicken fingers. You do better than this. Wait, is that a fingernail? Hello, and welcome to Dub Talk, where a group of sorcerers come together to eat weird things they picked up off the ground and occasionally talk about English dubs for anime. I'm Jet, and I'm joined tonight by Amon.
Cadro.
Steph.
You know, I found this lollipop that was on the ground. It's actually not bad. The dirt and gravel adds a little bit of flavor to the grape lollipop, you know?
And
it's very tasty. You're welcome.
And Patrick.
Forbidden floor jerky, gimme!
Forbidden floor jerky.
Why are these all about food?
I mean,
yeah.
listen, our Twitter chat was fucking finger food. The joke had to be in there somehow.
Yeah.
I guess I just wasn't expected to be so coordinated unless you all coordinated while I wasn't in the room and I just happened to fall into it by accident.
I just fucking shot that off the top of my head. I just went with it.
Coordinate? You know what, that's a good point.
But I was like, Amon, that's... You're making us sound like we are actually really good at this shit.
Okay.
I don't know, we got 5,000 subs, we're doing something right.
I suppose so.
Apparently we're doing something right after, 6 years?
Yeah, so anyway, we are all gathered here tonight to talk about the latest Shonen Jump mega hit, well, at least until the Chainsaw anime comes out, Jujutsu Kaisen. So if you somehow escaped the ever-cursing circle of the internet and haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, here's a synopsis from ANN. Negative human emotions, regret, bitterness, shame, are the sources of all curses that infect the world and everyday life, leading to death in the worst cases. Uji Itadori, a particularly strong young man, attempts to save a friend from a curse, only to wind up consuming the special grain curse beyond Mitsukuna's finger. This curse now sharing his body, he is mentored by the curse expert Satoru Gojo, who transferred to the Tokyo Metropolitan College of Arts and Science, where it specializes in curses. Only a curse can eliminate another curse, and Yuji's career as a cursed person who must exercise curses has now begun. So, basically the moral of the story here is do not pick up weird things you found on the ground.
Guys,
I mean, not wrong.
I don't think the forbidden floor
very...
jerky's sitting right.
Oh, Jesus. Here's the weird thing. So, while we're recording this, Connecticut has some severe thunderstorm warnings going on right now. I could hear, small rumblings of thunder, and I'm like, oh, well, then. So ominous to the story. Makes it so ominous and creepy now.
Yeah. So that was a complicated summary, but the basic gist of the show is, what if early Bleach, but basically written by Millennial, with, very clear Millennial anyway?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, and I don't know if I love it or hate it now.
I do not disagree, but I will note, if there's not a lot of Naruto in here, there's very much a sense of hey, Kakashi, I'ma take you, and drop you my story.
Kakashi no Gojo. Kakashi? No, his name is Satoru Gojo. That is, you were right. Even the fucking nose, like, blindfold shit. Fuck. Damn it, I hate it now.
I mean, to be fair, Gojo is much prettier than Kakashi is without, like, his mask on.
Listen.
like, Kakashi's a very handsome man, but he's not Gojo.
No. No, Kakashi's handsome. Gojo's just fucking pretty. That's the difference. Gojo is just fucking pretty because the only thing people care about is his fucking blue ocean eye. Just like stare deep into your fucking soul. Like, listen, no one can tell me that they do not fall for that shit. I am a victim of this. Fucking Gojo. Fuck.
I mean, you can try, but you'll never reach him.
No, I know. It's the sad part. Anyway.
Anyway, so we are here to talk about the dub for this particular show. And of course, what is a dub without ADR staff? Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, we were not able to learn who the adapted scriptwriter for the show was. And we probably won't learn until Vince puts out that home video release. Though Vince has been kind of slacking lately with dub credits, so even that might be kind of a toss-up. But while we don't have an adapted scriptwriter, we do know who the voice director is for this dub. And the voice director is one Michael Sorick. Michael Sorick has done a lot of stuff for Crunchyroll and Studiopolis these days. And is also just kind of... he did a lot of ADR work, like back in the old days. And some of the stuff you might have heard, that includes Bleach, Digimon Adventure, The God of High School, and I've said it got 1 million lives.
Interesting. So we're not talking about the other new show that he's doing then. Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to do an episode on that if we can somehow get enough cast members.
That's gonna be a fucking fight pit when that happens.
Oh, definitely.
Oh god, there's gonna be blood spilled.
Yeah, so, actually, let's see if we can go round robin style with this. So...
Okay.
So just like any point of discussion you want to bring up about this.
Oh, Lord. Where do we fucking start? I know we're not talking about a scriptwriter, but I do have to commend whoever the fucking writer is on this show. So, we all know Jujutsu Kaisen is your typical shonen, right? So, of course, you have the action-y, the hardcore action, like kick-ass kind of moments. But the comedy in this is also very funny. It has some moments and it has a lot of fun one-liners and in-jokes for the characters of the show, and I have to commend the writing on that one, because the comedic writing, it just makes it so wonderful. I usually, if I find interesting one-liners and stuff, I'll write them down. The only one I wrote down was from episode 2, and I think it was Gojo, where he's talking to Itadori, and Itadori is deciding, hey, I'm gonna help you get these damn fingers and then just die after I get them all, it's fine. And then Gojo's like, my guy! I'm like, because here's the thing.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the script, because one thing that's kind of interesting about the show that applies to the Japanese version too is that this actually is a series that makes a lot of very specific pop culture references to things millennials understand.
It does.
Like in the very first episode, there's a direct Ninja Warrior reference.
Yeah, there's a Ninja Warrior reference. Fucking Itadori's type of woman is someone like Jennifer Lawrence. There was, oh my god,
They actually show, a couple seconds of The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, there was that. And then there was a Castaway reference in there as well. When Itadori's chilling with Junpei. Wilson!
I remember reading the an interview for that episode where James Beck was like, man, it is really weird that a couple of Zoomers would know what Castaway is.
Yeah. But of course it would be these two movie nerds who would know exactly what fucking Castaway is. Mostly Junpei being the movie nerd. Like, Itadori just probably happened to watch it during his fucking training. And he kind of got stuck with it.
That's the trick. Itadori wouldn't watch it by himself. Gojo absolutely owns that movie on DVDs.
Yes.
Like
Gojo 100% owns it.
One of those early DVDs and those old weird shitty boxes they used to come in. I can picture it right now.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. Like a mountain of DVDs that Itadori had to go through.
Yeah.
And it's like, where'd you get these, Gojo? Oh, it's mine.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that in mind, I'm kind of surprised that this dub didn't have, like, maybe a little more slang. Like, I thought it might lead to that a little more. Like, it's fine for what it is, but I do wish the script was maybe a little punchier in a couple of places, but, yeah.
I can see it. I did not watch the Japanese. I don't know if the English basically stuck more to the Japanese. It sounds like it might have.
Yeah, like, it's...
But I can't confirm or deny
Yeah,
so.
It's not, like, directly one for one, but, like, it's not...
But it's pretty close.
Yeah, aside from, like, maybe adding in a few extra swears every now and then, it's pretty one-to-one.
Okay. Alright, so it's pretty close. So it's not a bad thing, but yeah, there are moments where some of the dialogue I think could be a bit punchier, especially in comedic moments. But for the most part, I think it still hit and landed where it needed to.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of like a mid 2000 shonen dub, which I think also kind of applies to like some of Michael's voice direction here, and like the way a lot of the characters are like specifically directed to sound, because compared to like the very kind of like refined anime archetypes you kind of see nowadays, like outside for a lot of the characters in this show, there's like a very clear emphasis on having them sound like very distinct from each other in a way where, like, even if you aren't looking on screen, you kind of have a pretty good idea of who's talking, which is something I kind of appreciate. That's, like, a really nice little effect here.
You say they sound very distinct.
With one very specific exception that we will get to later.
Well, alright, we have to rip off the Band-Aid on this one now. There's a lot of double and triple casting in this show.
That is very much a Studiopolis thing. I do not know why that's a thing they do, but it is a thing they do a lot.
And to the credit of a few of the actors and actresses in this dub, they sound distinct enough that it works.
Yeah, I feel like,
but it's still just annoying to me.
Yeah, I feel like with most of them, they're directed well enough where you would not be able to immediately tell they're playing new characters unless you are really familiar with those actors. But again, I'm gonna
be very real with you guys. You guys brought that up, and having watched the entire show, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. I did not notice it a single time.
Wait, really?
I'm surprised you didn't notice it with...
Give me an example.
Mekamaru and the principal.
Principal of Jujutsu Tech.
Those two...
See, I couldn't tell you what the principal Jujutsu Tech sounds like because I watched that like 4 months ago.
That would do it then.
That would do it, but they do sound like almost exactly the same, which is like...
Yeah, that is the bad end of the spectrum, which very, very sucks because that actor is capable of doing this shit.
Yeah.
He's more than capable of it, so it's kind of unfortunately disappointing on that one.
Yeah, it is really weird he was not directed to, like, sound different than that other character.
I will say this, though. Thankfully, there was enough space between sort of actors doing Walla and major characters that you don't really notice it, except for one scene in particular.
Yeah.
As you guys meant, it's actually the Mekamaru Panda fight, where you had lines with Mekamaru, and immediately the following scene is the principal.
Yes, like that. Oh my god! Like
that was like really distracting.
Like I understand. I guess I understand the need to sometimes double or triple cast. Because there's one frickin' actor who plays 3 characters, including a frickin' side villain during that arc. Actually, I understand sometimes you might need to double up or triple up on things, but like, it's annoying because that kind of makes you question like what the talent pool is like. But but like if the two characters sound basically almost mirror images of each other, then what's the point?
Yeah, that was a really weird decision, and again, that actor does have quite a bit of brain, so it is very weird that he was not like directed to make those two characters sound distinct.
No, yeah.
I'll note, I watched that scene like 2 days ago. I did not notice. I will also note there is no one in the California acting pool I can recognize by ear that well.
I'm surprised you didn't recognize that actor because he's like in literally everything. But okay.
And I mean, he's also in everyone's favorite show that still hasn't been rescued. But,
all right, I didn't actually look at the cast list, so I legitimately have no fucking clue who you're talking about right now. I am so lost. Like the mystery is very deep right now.
I'm pretty sure when I say the name when we get to that character, I'm
sure you will, but right now I'm very confused.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay, let's see.
I just put in the chat for Amon so he knows so we don't give it away right now.
So I will say that, like, annoying bits of double casting aside, like, I do think there are a lot of like really interesting casting choices here, like has some of the characters that are directing us out, and even who our lead is, which is this is that person's very first anime role, which is definitely very interesting decision for a show this big.
100%. I mean, I'm starting to see a pattern with a couple of these big Crunchyroll titles. This and freaking To Your Eternity being another one, where they decide to pull for their lead someone who has never done anime before.
Yeah, but has that stuff in Western animation, which is definitely interesting.
Which is interesting and weird, but I don't hate it. I don't hate that either. Because I was having this conversation with Andrew the other day. It's a weird progression, because like typically when it comes to anime voice actors, usually they progress from that into like video games and Western cartoons. But now you're seeing the opposite effect on a couple of these. Where you have people from Western cartoons crossing into anime dubbing, so it's very weird seeing the opposite. Like until recently, the one person who was kind of notable for that was like maybe Ben Diskin, but now you have like Robbie David, you have that actor into Your Eternity, and you have our lead here. Also, also Zeno Robinson. He did a lot of prelude before he did anime. About to say, Xeno's another one too, yeah. Like, it's so weird, but I don't dislike it. It's just weird, because it's like anime is becoming mainstream now or something. Oh my fucking god.
I mean, it basically is, so, yeah.
At this stage, yeah. I feel like an old woman now, Christ.
I remember back in my day where you had to, like, rip fan subs off from bad VHSs.
No. Back in my day, you had to watch your animes on YouTube as parts, so Fruits Basket Episode 1, Part 1. Fruits Basket Episode 2, Part 2. Episode 1, Part 2, sorry.
Back in my day, 2 options. You could watch what was on TV, or you could hope that your video store had something.
Yes!
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh, it turned out you had the shitty Blockbuster? Well, too bad.
Yeah.
Well, you're fucked.
Yeah, there is one thing I wanted to bring up before we move on. And Jet, you might be able to help me out with this one. I know, in particular, the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen kind of had a really abrupt change in terminology as I guess as the translator talked with the licensors a little bit.
No. So what happened there was, I think it was just like a thing in timing because originally, Jujutsu Kaisen was like, okay, when Jujutsu Kaisen started being simulpubbed, it was like in the middle of it was like in the very middle of its run. So I guess they hadn't decided on like terminology and whatnot yet. Yeah, and I guess at some point they went back and they like got all the terminology that you see here displayed in the anime. So like when I was like going through the manga for the first time, you had all the terminology you see here, and then like there's like a middle stretch for like a few chapters. Suddenly, like all the terminology was like in Japanese, and it was like really jarring. And then it switched back. So I guess it was just like okay, they didn't update those chapters with the current translation, but it was kind of weird.
Yeah, one thing I appreciate with the script adaptation for this was that they did keep the terminology kind of consistent.
I was worried about that because like when Crunchyroll like first put out subtitle trailers for this, they had different terminology from what was in the Viz translation, but I guess they like worked that out before they actually started simulcasting it, so that was nice.
Yeah.
But, what was my brain about to say? Oh! Slight kudos on the directing part, and I guess technically the actor who plays Fushiguro. For, I know you said it was near one-for-one translation. Near. But, I do enjoy the small, like, liberties that they took with some of the characters. Just Fushiguro being one of them, because it's been publicly stated that there's a line in the show where Fushiguro doesn't necessarily identify his type of woman, leaving his preference very open-ended.
Oh yeah, that's particularly interesting because because when someone brought it up, I went back and checked the Viz translation. In the manga, he does not like specify what gender he's into. And that's also true for the dub, but in the Crunchyroll subtitles, he did say woman for some reason. So I guess it was a screw up on Crunchyroll. So
I guess, but like I guess it was also a decision in the booth for them too to do that. This is just what I know of the situation, and it makes Fushiguro a very interesting character for more reasons than one. Fucking Fushiguro. So I did not watch the last 3 episodes of the show for the first time until today. Fuck. I held off because I knew we were going to be doing this and I was going to restart it anyway. I'm like, I'm just going to wait and finish the whole show. And then, oh god, Fushiguro. Bro.
Like, I shotgunned the entire back half in like 2 days.
Oh my god. It gives me appreciation for Fushiguro a lot more, that's for sure. And Nobara! Oh my god!
Yeah, that last fight was a lot of fun.
Yes. Anyways.
Anyway, we should start getting into our characters, so let's talk about some of the staff at Jujutsu Tech. We have Utahime Iori, Bebe, Kiyotaka Ijichi, Shoko Yero, and Akari Nita. Utahime is one of the teachers from the Kyoto branch, and she doesn't really get along with Gojo that well. Bebe is a Jujutsu sorcerer who's obsessed with money. Ijichi is one of the assistants, and is just very clearly not being paid enough to put up with his bosses and all these dumb kids.
I love Ijichi! He just gets the short end of the stick all the time.
Shoko is one of the school's doctors, and Akari is another assistant who helps out Yuji the gang during their mission in the last 3 episodes, and she's also very clearly not being paid enough to deal with these dumb kids.
Is anyone here really being paid enough?
No.
Are we even sure they're getting paid?
I mean, the students are definitely not getting paid.
The students get room and board. That's how they get their payment.
Quote, payment, unquote, yeah.
Yeah, quote, unquote.
So anyway, playing Utahime, we have Tera Sands, who has played such characters as Mokuma Kaiba from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, Biscuit Kruger from Hunter x Hunter, and Anna Kimata from the 2001 Shaman Kingdom. Meme is played by Emberly Connors, who has played such characters as Akari Hyuga in Bloom Into You, Brandis in Fairy Tail, and Emilio Rollins in Rainbow Gate. Idichi is played by, God, I'm probably going to put the last name, Chris Tagliaferra, who has played such characters as Griggs and Sword Guy, Sylvia Zoldyck in Hunter x Hunter 2011, and Mohammed Avdal with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Sonic Crusaders.
I still need to finish that. Fuck.
Shoko is played by Ryan Bartley, who has played such characters as Rhyme and ReZero, Tsubomi Takada in Mob Psycho 100, and Kabuki in Hunter x Hunter 2011. Lastly, Akari is played by Sarah Ann Williams, who has played such characters as Puck in Berserk 2016, Liz Babbitt started online, and Best Girl who did absolutely nothing wrong, Sayaka Miki from the full-on Magi Madoka Magica franchise.
I never watched the dub of Madoka Magica.
If you do, just stick with the dub for the movies. The TV series dub is very not good.
That's what I've heard. That's why I don't watch it.
Apparently,
the reason why I don't watch the dub.
Apparently, the show's dub is kind of which is the one I'm familiar with. The movies, however,
the movie dub is
top notch.
Yeah, the movie dub is much better.
Good to know.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we can start talking about these characters. So did any of them stick out to you particularly?
Poor Kiyotaka. He has to deal with one boss who doesn't take anything seriously, and another boss who takes everything seriously.
Yeah.
He cannot win.
He can't fucking win, and then he has to deal with these freaking kids, who are the biggest troublemakers, basically, of all time for him. Like, Jesus Christ. He doesn't get paid enough for this shit.
Like, I love in the
I'll be
first
honest,
ending, his whole thing is, he's washing his car.
Yes.
Like, he's just,
So cute.
like, the whole purpose of that ending was just everybody at their casual best, and he's just taking care of his car on a Saturday. Because Saturdays are made for dads. And dad's car.
No, I love Chris. He's so much fun. And it's hilarious when you have fucking Gundam Tanaka playing this fucking guy in a suit who basically has to go through the ringer of stupid shit all the time.
I just love how he puts in just enough of that. What am I doing here? I don't get paid enough for this. I'm hungry.
Yeah. It's like, can I just go home? I just want to go home.
Yeah, I will say it is definitely very interesting seeing Chris play this character because I'm very used to him playing big guy like Abdul or Kill His Dad. So like, here he can play Bucky.
I'm also used to him playing extra motherfuckers like Gundam Tanaka in the Danganronpa video game. Like, like Gundam can be extra as fuck.
So yeah,
no, Abdul too. Like,
yeah, it's definitely very different for him, but it really works.
Like, I get a kick out of it because I'm just sitting here. I'm like, poor Ichiji.
Yeah, Chris does a really good job.
He needs a vacation.
Of just making him sound like he's just being bullied by his bosses constantly. That he's just very, very afraid of upsetting them.
Poor Ichiji. I love him. It just works so fucking well. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, out of those 5 that we're talking about right now, that's the one that stands out to me more than the other 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, Mei only really does stuff towards the end. Like, I think she only really gets...
Shoko kind of...
I think she only gets lines in, like, the last couple episodes.
That's like, her deal probably won't get explained until, like, the second season. To which I will say, like, we're going to be talking about the very ridiculous powers with some of the other characters, but she has the single most ridiculous power in this story.
Oh, fun.
Oh boy. I bet.
I cannot wait in the most unironic way I can say that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, for what we've heard so far, I thought Amber did a pretty good job. Tara Izutahime is interesting, particularly because I'm very used to Tara playing, like, young boys or, like, maybe teen girls, so... I think this is my first time ever hearing her play, like, an adult woman, so it's pretty interesting.
I think that's the same with me, too. And it's...
I gotta say, she does really well as teen mom.
Yeah. She's the Kyoto teen mom. She really is. Like, and her fucking interactions with Gojo are just great, too. Because, oh my god, Gojo is just this mood. This fucking mood and this weird wonky-ass energy.
Yeah, Gojo...
Hime just has to put up with this shit.
Gojo bullies everyone equally.
Yeah, Gojo doesn't give a fuck. I mean, they state very early on that Jujutsu sorcerers are all basically a little crazy. So, like they get that out of the way, because that also explains, like, oh, this is why they're fucking nuts.
Now, I could be wrong, and I could have been misinterpreting this. Did it kind of feel like Gojo was flirting with her?
There's a lot of sexual tension in this show. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yes.
There's a lot of, are these characters? There's a lot of, like, alright, do you two hate each other because of your personality, or is this also, like, a bad one-night stand in here somewhere? Because it could be both. Gotta be honest here.
Knowing Gojo, probably. Knowing how Gojo acts, there's probably a good shot. Because Gojo's fucking dumb. Don't get me wrong, I love Gojo to pieces, but Gojo's also a dick. He's such a dick sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see. Other characters in this mix. Ryan Bartley is Joko. Admittedly, I'm not... admittedly, I mostly know Ryan Bartley for playing, like, teen girls, so again, like, her doing an adult is kind of interesting change of pace for me. I don't see some of them,
A couple of these are different character types that we're not used to, which isn't nice. It's just the majority of this section you don't see much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did say I thought, like, maybe a couple were blind reads were a little flat every now and then, but otherwise I thought she did fine. And Sarah Ann Williams as Akari. Again, she's not, like, quite as fun as ECG, but I did enjoy her presence in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah. I think Nita is, just for all intents and purposes, kind of supposed to be the female version of Ichiji.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, except for the fact that she also doesn't take shit from people compared to Ichiji. Ichiji just sometimes people walk all over him and he doesn't care. Nita is just like, fuck that noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nita feels a little more competent than Ichiji.
Yes. Just a bit. Like, she
okay.
Like, at the end of the fight and everything, it's like, where are these fucking kids? I'm gonna fucking kill them!
Like, I'm gonna be honest, Nita and Ichiji both feel, to me, like, how do I word this? I actually feel like they might be too competent for what they do. Because, like, any completely sane person in their situation would probably not work for Jujutsu sorcerers.
Yeah.
Are they sane, though?
I mean,
that's
again,
the question.
I put it this way. Fox Mulder is very good at his job. He is also Fox Mulder.
I mean, again, they say early on that the Jujutsu sorcerers all have to be a little bit fucking crazy. So...
Oh, there we go.
22-ness about it.
There's a thunder boom. I don't know who was that. That wasn't me.
That was me.
Oh.
All right.
This Eastern Seaboard, huh?
Thunderstorm Roulette, let's go.
we had Connecticut at the start of the episode. We just had New Jersey. Come on, Amon, let's get Boston in there.
So
and now a hard cut to us having to reconvene several days later because all of our internets went out at the same time.
And one of our audios is mysteriously absent because the power entirely cut out.
No! Please don't say that!
Yeah, let's not curse this.
I'm knocking on wood right now. No.
Don't tempt fate, man.
I knocked on wood.
I was say, I'm on Tempted Fate the other day!
So we get to move on to next group of characters?
Can I also just say one more thing about Chris?
Sure.
He also has some exposition narrator bits that he does throughout the show, too.
Oh, where it's done like the TV interview? I love those.
Something that's kind of interesting about that is that the manga does have like very kind of generalized narration, but I'm pretty sure like there was a statement with the anime where Gege Akutami like very specifically told the anime staff not to do like generic narration. So instead, you just have like characters just like randomly narrating bits every now and then.
That's interesting, then.
Like,
and I think it actually works because with Chris being a presence, like here and there throughout the show, he kind of serves as a good portion of that exposition, which is great. And then I know Nanami has a bit as well. Nanami, who we're going to talk about next, I think, has some narrative sections as well. I think the principal does, not Gakuganji, Yaga does a little bit. Gojo, I think, might have a tiny bit, too, here and there. But that's very interesting, then.
Oh, yeah, even Nobara gets one in, like, the last episode.
Yeah, she kind of does. It's very interesting. But no, I wanted to bring that up, because, like, considering this is not the first time I've heard Chris as a type of narrator voice, Kuriko, I kind of enjoy his narrator voice. It's very nice.
Okay.
And that's all I wanted to add.
Okay, in that case, let's move on to some more characters. And next we have some more of the Jujutsu Tech faculty.
Another fucking mood!
Two?
Yeah, specifically, we have two of the principals, and Nanami because he's kind of more important than some of the other ones we mentioned. And this is basically the only other point I can think of to put in.
Fucking Nanami's a mood.
Yeah, so anyway, we have Matsumichi Yaga, Yoshinobu Kakuganji, and Kento Nanami. Principal Yaga is the principal of the Tokyo branch of Jujutsu Tech. His curse technique is to create curse corpses, which are basically just a bunch of weird stuffed dolls that can move around, as well as a certain other character who we'll be bringing up later.
Yes. He loves to experiment with his cursed dolls, we'll say that.
Principal Kakuganji is the principal of the Kyoto branch, and he tries to have Yuki assassinated for being Tsukuna's vessel. He's also just very, very clearly a strongman for all the contempt Gege Akutami probably has towards, like, the older generation and boomers. Just very, very clear.
Oh, man. Like, there's a very prominent thing with Gojo's character where he basically is like, fuck the elders, fuck these assholes, they don't know shit. And Kakuganji is basically the epitome of like the old traditional ways and the rules. And Gojo's like, fuck your rules.
Yeah.
Here, Itadori, eat a finger.
Yeah. So with that in mind, it is very interesting that his curse technique is to fire curse energy by strumming a guitar and using his body as the amp. So we actually get to see this weird conservative grandpa just doing guitar solo.
It's so disappointing. The coolest power in this show, and this asshole is the one who has it.
I have to say, Amon is severely disappointed.
I will say the anime mitigates this a little bit, because in the manga it looks like he's playing a black flying V, which is the best guitar. But in the anime they made it red, which is, I mean, it's still flying V, but it's not as good as a black flying V.
I will be honest with you, Gakuganji has serious Metallica vibes. Oh my god.
He very much feels like any number of like old metalhead who it turns out was probably always a little conservative. They just weren't as open about it when they were younger.
Like, probably.
Fucking Dave Mustang over here.
Ah, yes. Gakuganji's a dick.
He
like, we must kill Itadori.
He epitomizes the meme, fuck them kids.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah.
Gakuganji, fuck them kids.
Yeah, and then...
Itadori needs to die.
And then, lastly, we have Kenta Nanami, who is a first-grade sorcerer put in charge of Yuji when they go to investigate some murders at a movie theater. And his first technique is... Okay, I'm gonna try my best to explain this one.
Oh god, his is weird and complicated.
Okay, so apparently he can cut anything along a 7.3 ratio. And when he does this, it forcibly creates a weak point on his target, and any attack he lands is considered a critical hit. Meaning he can fight against curses stronger than he is, and even just like using the back of his blade, like, deals a lot of damage. And if you somehow understood any of what I just said, congratulations, your PhD is in the mail.
Look, it's very easy to understand. You just have to think of it as like a special move in a video game, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Like if you do it's like a special move in a JRPG kind of game.
That's absolutely what it looked like to me. It's like, this is like one of those fancy moves in like a Final Fantasy game where like you don't really think about the mechanics of it; it just looks neat.
Or like hitboxes in a fighting game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense. But also fucking Nanami.
Just,
don't mood.
Just don't talk to Nanami about rolling netcode. I don't think we want to have that conversation.
Also, don't mess with Nanami's overtime. You don't like that either.
Yes, he's a very delightful character, but don't tell him that.
Listen, I really like Nanami. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
His fucking backstory, too, is he went to Jujutsu Tech, graduated, but did not want to be a Jujutsu sorcerer because he fucking hated it. So he decided to work at a 9-to-5 sales job for a fucking shitty-ass company, but then he learned after like a year or two that he also fucking hated that. So he's like, his explanation to Itadori is, if I'm gonna hate both of these things, I at least want to do the one that's more interesting. So he goes back to being a fucking Jujutsu sorcerer because of it. I'm like, what the fuck? That's great. I love Nanami. He's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and on that note, we should probably talk about who voices these characters.
Yeah.
So for Principal Yaga, we have Keith Silverstein, who is in basically everything. But specifically, he has played such characters as Gohan in Beastars, Ishin Kurosaki in Bleach, and Char Azamal in Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. But of course, Amon, you would probably know him best as Johan Liebert in Monster. Let's see, Principal Kakugaji is played by Kyle Hebert, who has played such characters as Kibe Nizuka in Naruto, Fat Cam in My Hero Academia, and Son Gohan in pretty much everything in the Dragon Ball franchise. Weirdly, he is also double casted in this show as Yuji's grandpa in the first episode, which is like just a very weird contrast.
I didn't notice that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I couldn't figure out for the life of me who also fucking voiced his grandpa. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was definitely Kyle Hebert, so like...
But wasn't he also one of the fucking, one of Yuji's friends in that fucking occult club too?
That I do not remember, but like I do know.
I think he was. I think I heard it too. I'm like, what the fuck?
But yeah, he was definitely the grandpa. So just like the contrast of these two old men is just amazing.
Oh my god, my
that's
head
fun.
hurts.
That's some galaxy brain casting right there.
My head hurts now. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure Kyle was the male guy in the occult club from the first episode too. Oh my god, my brain hurts now. Oh, fuck me, man.
And lastly, Nanami is played by Damon Vincent, who has played such characters as Gilgamesh and the modern versions of the Fate franchise, Senketsu and Kill la Kill, and Vaughn of the Dawn in Gun Next Sword. Okay, so why don't we start off this section of characters with Principal Yaga keeps Overtime.
What a jackass.
I mean, Keith Silverside is the good one, the one with the shades.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I got confused.
No, Keith is the good one. You're talking about Kyle. Kyle is the asshole.
I don't remember the names of anyone in this show, so I get confused very easily. He's fine.
Don't feel bad. I actually confused him too when I was like making up notes for this.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. You were just put in our Twitter chat like, oh, I just realized I accidentally swapped them.
Like, of all of the faculty characters of the show, Yaga feels like he has the strongest dad energy. Especially because he's technically a dad.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, he is basically Panda's dad.
Oh yeah. Oh, Panda. We love Panda. I love Panda. It's such a joy.
And he also gives one of my favorite line deliveries in the entire show.
Oh yeah?
Which is, you see, Panda is not a panda. As the explanation of Panda's powers is going on, which we'll get to when we actually get to Panda.
Panda's complicated in himself. God damn.
And I also love the fact that his little corpse puppets are what is used in the in Yuji's training sessions.
Yuji just keeps getting the shit beat out of him by those puppets.
Where he has to watch movies and he can't wake up the corpse puppet or it'll punch him.
And remember, in order for him to be accepted into Jujutsu Tech, he had to fight one of the corpse puppets as well.
Yep.
He gets his ass beat so many times by those corpse puppets, it's not even funny. It's great.
Yeah, I liked Keith here. I thought he had like a pretty good kind of authoritative tone to his voice, and like a pretty good amount of presence to him. Where it's like, yeah, this guy definitely feels like he'd be in administration.
And what's great about him is, like, he's authoritative, he's stern, but he's never really an asshole.
Yeah. Like, there's always a reason behind Yaga's words and his actions, and it definitely comes across, for sure, and I do enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I think like one thing I definitely did appreciate was like his whole speech to Yuji in episode 2, where he's talking to Yuji about like why he wants to be a sorcerer and how he had to like find a reason for saving people beyond just it's my grandpa's dying wish.
Yeah.
And basically telling them that if he like continues on that path, he's gonna end up hating his grandpa for that.
Right. Like, yeah, those are, like, Yaga has his reasons for the things he does. And as convoluted as his methods for showing them are, it works.
Yeah. So, yeah, I also do kind of like his whole like speech during the baseball episode with like Principal Boomer, where
Principal Boomer! Yes! Gakuganji is no longer Gakuganji, he is Principal Boomer. I love it. Hell yeah.
Where he's like asking if he like so wants to do that, and he's like, oh well, like these are the rules, I have to do it this way. And I was like, well, I mean, we don't know like whether or not this is the right decision, but all we can really do is just like watch over these kids. And I was like, okay, that's a nice sentiment that I thought Keith delivered that really well.
No, yeah, I really liked it.
And on that note, I guess we should talk about Principal Boomer over here. So
now, by contrast,
I love
what an asshole!
Now, by contrast, fucking dick.
Fuck them kids.
Oh, God. Here's what's very weird to me. Fucking. This is Kyle Hebert going from fucking Solomon in Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun to fucking Gaku Ganji, because these are both old grandpa like aged characters. It's so fucking different, because if you've ever watched Iruma, Kyle hams it the fuck up and it's great. This one is like, no.
yeah,
This one I want to punch.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Sullivan is a very nice man. This guy is definitely not.
no. Solomon's a good man that took Iruma out of his away from his shitty parents because they don't fucking care. Gakuganji just wants to kill Itadori because he should not be a thing. That's rude.
But yeah, like, Kyle did a really good job of this, making him sound like a very crotchety old fart, and just like, definitely the kind of boomer who just very clearly prioritizes rules and traditions over, like, anything else with basically zero flexibility.
I love Grandpa Boomer. That's a fun name now. It's my favorite nickname, Grandpa Boomer. I love it.
I mean, he even has a Jimi Hendrix shirt.
He does.
I don't know if that made it in the anime, but in the manga, when they have that bit where they're playing the guitar, like, you can't really see what the design is, but it very clearly says Jimi Hendrix at the top of it.
Oh yeah,
That's amazing.
And it's like, all right, you've told me a lot about this man's age and priorities with that bit. Thank you, Gege. That's good.
Thank you, show. Thank you, Jujutsu Kaisen. Appreciate it.
He has the air of a man who purchases records and never listens to them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, he does.
Yeah. The thing I really wonder about his power is that, like, I wonder if it's a very specific thing of it's the only way his power works, or if it's just he really likes the guitar. Because I think either interpretation is just really funny.
Oh, I 100% buy this guy used to be like cool, hot shit when he was young, and he was gonna fight the system, and then he turned into the system as he got older.
Oh yeah, I buy it.
Some real meet the new boss, same as the old boss energy to that guy.
Yeah, I buy that. I buy that energy 100%. Like, holy shit, man. No, I like Kyle. Kyle is the crotchety old man I want to fucking punch into the sun right now. Grandpa Boomer!
He is wonderfully loathsome. I hate him so much.
But it's those kind of performances where you enjoy them because you hate them so much.
No, absolutely. Kyle plays it really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And now, let's talk about the best character in this section, Nanami.
Yes.
Nanami, again, is a goddamn mood. He's the kind of guy who's like, sick of your bullshit. Like the grumpy guy at work who just wants to go home. And hates everything. But he's still like a stiff shirt of sorts and just is like a stickler for doing things the correct way. Like, you get the impression that Nanami is like, when you first meet Nanami, that he's actually one of the most normal human beings you could ever freaking interact with. And then when you get into his backstory and how he's like, both this and this suck, but I guess I'll do this because it's more interesting. It's like, there it is.
Yep.
There's the crazy. There's the crazy.
Yeah, he just gives off very tired millennial energy. And it is worth noting, even though he is, like, a stickler for the rules, he does value his time very much. Like,
Ah, yes, he does.
Yeah, like,
very much.
Yeah, like even when he's fighting Mahito, he's like, okay, I went in at 9 today, so like no matter what happens, I'm getting out of here by 6.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, I guess I have to go into overtime now.
He's not happy about it.
No, he's not. And then he fucking beats Mahito almost to a goddamn pulp, and he's like, alright, I'm just gonna go now. I don't have time for this shit. It's like, wait, why? Nanami, why? And instead, Rubble basically tries to crush Mahito. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I also just love a lot of his interactions with Yuji, where like where Yuji very clearly does not want to be treated like a kid, but Nanami's whole thing is like, well, like if you're a kid, you're a kid. Like there's nothing wrong with being a kid, but like you're a kid. And I especially just love his whole speech about like what being an adult means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of it's one of those situations for Nanami where like when he says that if you're a kid, then you're a kid. Where it's one of those things where he's like, considering all the shit that Jujutsu sorcerers end up going through, it also kind of gave off in my brain in a weird way. Nanami is also trying to protect Yuji a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, Nanami's trying to be good and helpful in his own weird, strict way.
He's trying to be a balancing influence to Gojo, who he fears will lead Yuki down the wrongest of paths.
Yes! Fucking okay. We haven't brought this up yet. Can I also mention, so at the end of the end of each episode, there's this little kind of lighthearted section called Juju Stroll. And the first episode where we're really introduced to Nanami, the Juju Stroll for that one is fucking Gojo trying to get Nanami's attention, and Nanami straight up ignores him the whole fucking time. And the way that he finally gets Nanami's attention is Nanami's at the vending machine. He's trying to get money from his pocket. He feels a note. He opens it up. It's from Gojo, and all it is a drawing and the word penis. And Nanami's just like, you motherfucker. It's so fucking great. I love it. If that does not explain the dynamic between Gojo and Nanami in like 30 seconds, basically, I don't know what else will. It's so great.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I love both Nanami and Gojo. They are two different types of, like, weird dad millennial energy. Like, I love them both. It's not even funny. I love them both. God. I really love David Vincent as Nanami. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, I do want to bring up like that whole weird speech he does where he's like, oh, you know, like maturity doesn't make you an adult. Like, so like finding out you have gray hair. Like your favorite band is no longer in style, stuff like that. All those little spheres are what make you an adult. And I brought that up because like when Amon read that, what was it you said exactly?
Oh, I read that, and my immediate thought, I saw David deliver this speech, and my immediate thought was, Steely Dan fan. His favorite album is Gaucho, but his favorite song is Deacon Blues, because he finds something compelling about a song about a go-nowhere suburban loser whose main goal in life is to be a slightly cooler form of go-nowhere suburban loser.
That's amazing.
It also used to work in high finance. Very key to being a Steely Dan fan.
Also just being a flat-out tired millennial dad.
Oh,
Absolutely. Listen, I still love Nanami. I don't care.
There are too many characters in the show that I like to have an actual favorite, but Nanami gets the closest because he is.
Yeah.
He's cool and he's just hysterical. I love David's performance so much. He is such the correct level of just like, I'm going to do my job well because it's worth doing well. Having said that, I hate all of you.
Yes.
And I resent that I have to be here to deal with you.
It's such... Again, Nanami is a fucking mood. Like, it's not even funny. And it works, and David makes it work so fucking well. It's so great. I love it. No, like, you're right. Like, it's hard to have an actual favorite character in this show. Nanami does come pretty close. Gojo's also very fucking up there. Because reasons.
Yeah.
But, because it's fucking Gojo.
That's it, yeah. I also do appreciate that he did sound like a little more somber when, like, we go over his whole backstory. So, like, I definitely do like, in particular, like, that whole speech he had with, like, the lady in the bakery where he's like, if you really think about it, like, you work in a bakery, your job is important. Like, people would definitely care if, like, a bakery shut down, but all I do is, like, make rich people richer. No one really care if I was no longer here. Like, I read that line the first time and I was like, man, if that's not a mood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The delivery on that is just
a whole fucking
perfect.
It's so good. I love it.
But yeah, Nanami is great. David's delivery is just, it's perfect. This was a great casting choice.
Yep, I love it. Give us more Nanami. Especially Nanami and Gojo interactions. Those are fucking great. They're both moods and they're so dumb. It's great.
So, any other comments you had on this section of characters?
I don't think so.
Cool, then. In that case, we will go from the faculty to some of these students. Specifically, some of these students of the Kyoto Bridge. We have Mekamaru, Cosme Miwa, Noritoshi Kamo, Momo Nishimiya, and Mai Zenin, and Aoi Todo. Mekamaru is, well, basically...
Toto, I'm sorry! Toto! I'm sorry!
I will...
That boy!
He is a lot. So...
I can't, I'm sorry I keep interrupting, but fuck some of these characters.
Okay, so Mekamaru is basically just a robot that can use Kurt's energy. He also has a human operating him who is just, like, wrapped up in a bunch of bandages. He's very sad.
Yeah, that was a real bummer.
He is sad panda.
Yeah, Miwa is basically just a very nice girl who became a sorcerer to support her family because she's poor, and she's also just basically a secret Gojo fangirl.
Oh my god.
Her curse technique allows her to automatically cut anything that comes within a certain radius of her. Noritoshi is the only combo clan, and his curse technique lets him manipulate blood. Momo is a close friend of Mai, and I don't think it's ever really explained exactly what her curse does, but she's basically just a Ghibli witch reject. I mean, just look at that hair.
You're not wrong.
Oh, harsh, man.
Not wrong, though. Let's be real here. He's not wrong. That is Momo in a nutshell.
Moving on. Mai is the twin sister of Maki and resents her for having left the Zenin clan to pursue her own goals. Her curse technique allows her to make physical objects with curse energy, but apparently it consumes a lot, so she can't make anything bigger than a bullet, apparently. Lastly, Todo is, well,
Todo.
Todo is basically just a huge Chad, and he's also an idol stan.
When the internet talks about men of culture, they're talking about Todo.
Yes. I see you are a man of culture as well. That is Todo in a nutshell.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah, he's also just very extremely loud and open about his tall girl big butt fetish, which, you know what? Good for him.
I mean, good for him. But with Todo, oh my god. It starts one of the most random and weirdest of bromances in the fucking show. And I can't help but die.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
There are a lot of moments during the show where something happens, and I just think the people who made this are geniuses.
Yes.
And Todo having his little, like, fantasy flashback about being in junior high with Yuji is right up there.
It's so great.
I love the later one too, where he's with the idol he likes, and she's basically walking through the scenario with him as he's trying to figure out Hanami's powers.
Oh my god. Yeah. Like, Todo is, like, crazy to the nth degree.
Also, his first technique lets him switch places with anyone by clapping his hands. He can even have other people and objects switch places with each other, which actually makes it pretty busted. And also, it is called, and I kid you not, the Boogie Woogie.
Not since that one digital lady in Psycho Pass was named Spooky Boogie have I laughed so hard.
Oh. No, but fuck. What was I gonna say? No, his bromance with fucking Itadori. So I watched most of the show in the past few days, and Andrew was watching it with me because he hadn't actually finished the show yet. He didn't get to finish it with me today because he was at work, but he watched the start of this bromance. I was like, hey babe, you ready for the best bromance ever? He's like, what the fuck am I watching? He just starts dying. It's just so good. Oh my god, it's so fucking great. Oh shit.
Anyway, we should get to who plays these characters.
Mm-hmm.
So for Mechamaru, we have Kisuma Scene again, who has played all the stuff I mentioned before, and also he took in Hunter x Hunter 2011, and Lupin the Third in the Koike vs. Lupin movies. Cosme Miwa is played by Allegra Clark, who has played such characters as Gade in Bungo Stray Dogs, Barbara in The Promised Neverland Season 2, and Pitahui in Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Game Online. Noritoshi Kamo is played by Lenny McDonald, who has played such characters as Rampo Inagawa in Bungo Stray Dogs, Kashin in Infinity Force, and Rohan Kishibe in The Spick Kishibe Rohan. Momo Nishimiya is played by Tara Sands, who again has played everything I mentioned before, as well as Kara Kamiya in Digimon Adventure Tribe, and Bulbasaur in the early seasons of Pokemon.
I forgot she's Bulbasaur. That's funny.
There's a fun fact for you.
Lastly, Todo is played by Xander Mobus, who is...
You forgot about Mai.
Shit, I did. Mai is played by Laura Post, who has played such character... Who has played basically every evil anime mob you can think of. But specifically, Rakio in Kill la Kill, Isabella in The Promised Neverland, and to mix it up a bit, Diane in Little Witch Academia. Lastly, Todo is played by Xander Mobus, who has played such characters as Momoshiki Otsutsuki in Naruto Next Generations, Okaromori in the new Detective Conan movies, and for all you Persona fans out there, Random Amiya, aka Joker from Persona 5.
Can we start out with the fact that 4 out of 6 of these people are double triple casted?
Yeah, I will say for at least most of these, they are played secretly enough that you would not be able to immediately tell unless you were very familiar with these actors, with one exception, and I guess we might as well just rip off the Band-Aid.
I'm so sad by this.
Let's start with Keith Silverstein as Mechamaru, because, again, we mentioned it before, but he also plays the principal, and those two sound almost exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, at the very least, his Mechamaru had the vocal filter applied to it, so you could at the very least tell them apart.
You could tell them apart when they had the vocal filter, but he did not have the vocal filter whenever you saw, the actual Mechamaru, and he did not have it, and he also didn't have the vocal filter whenever he was, doing internal monologues. So we switched from that to Principal Yaga doing narration. Because upon rewatch, I could kind of tell when Keith was switching it up. But the first time, they sounded pretty much exactly the same, and it was, jarring.
Yeah. I can say the same thing when I first watched the fight between Mechamaru and Panda. I was very confused as to who actually was talking. The second time I managed to figure it out, but,
Yeah, again, I do not...
I'm very sad.
Yeah, again, I do not understand why Keith is not directed to have those two sound different.
I'm very sad.
Because he has a lot of range, he could definitely do it. I do not understand why he was directed to have them sound the same.
Yeah, I don't get it either, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like, he sounds fine otherwise, like, he does everything he needs to here, I mean... He did a pretty okay job with Mechamaru's, like...
You're right. If the principal did not exist, Mechamaru would have been fine.
Yeah, like, he did a pretty fine job with, like, Mechamaru's, like, whole sad backstory, which is basically...
Oh my god, Mechamaru is just so tragic. It's like, how?
Which is basically, he was born with what is called, like, a Heavenly Pact, where he was born with the ability to use a curse technique, but in exchange for that, he's basically been bedridden since the day he was born, like...
Yeah.
He has a bunch of bandages, even going outside, like, burns his skin, so... He just sits in the bathtub.
Yeah. He's... Oh my god. This is how Andrew described him. You know the, you know the character from SpongeBob? That, SpongeBob and Patrick interact with one time? Who's all in bandages, and he says, my body's made entirely of glass, and then he just starts going down the stairs, and every, like, time he hits a stair, like, you hear glass shatter, it's like, oh, god. That's Mechamaru. That is exactly Mechamaru.
Yeah, pretty much. I did very much enjoy his fight with Panda, though, that was cool.
It was good.
Oh, Panda Fight's great.
Panda Fight's great. We love Panda. No, but, like, if Yaga did not exist, this would have been fine.
I'm gonna be honest, I did notice.
I know you didn't notice.
I still didn't notice.
I know.
Now that I know what character you're talking about, it was just like, that's an error. Look, a lot of adult men sound more or less the same to me anyways, so, like, the fact that those two sounded vaguely similar didn't really register as much of anything.
I think it's because I love Keith Silverstein as an actor,
I think that's a problem.
It's just...
I think that's the problem. I love Keith Silverstein. If you ask me right now, what does he sound like, I could not give you an actual answer. Like, what does he sound like? It's like a guy? I don't know.
He sounds like a man.
I like him, but I generally can't recognize him very well just by voice alone, and so extreme double casting like this doesn't register nearly as...
That's
like,
fair.
If you did this for, like, Ian Sinclair, I would spot that immediately. Like, I know exactly what he sounds like. Keith, in comparison, I don't know as well.
Gotcha.
No, that's fair.
Like, I've gotten a handle of what Keith Silverstein can sound like. So, unfortunately, you're Ian Sinclair, this is me.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Because he's a very good actor. It's... I am a little sad that it's just not directed differently for Mechamaru. But if the principal didn't exist, it would be fine.
Again, this is like the one instance. This is basically just the one instance where the double casting of the show, like, actually bothered me.
Well...
I
will admit the other time it slightly bothered me was actually with Xander, and not for the reasons you think.
I can kind of understand that one too. It's not. It's definitely nowhere near as bad as this was, but I can understand that. Yeah.
Right, because Xander plays 3 characters, one of which we're going to talk about later, but the other one is one of the random offshoot villains that shows up during this fucking arc. And it almost sounds like Todo. Almost.
It is. Yeah, it is lighter pitch than Todo, but if you were paying attention, you could probably tell they are the same actor.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, they didn't have a scene interact with each other.
Yeah, they never interact, so it's not, like, super bad, but it is, like, yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those moments where the double casting doesn't quite work as well there. But the ones that... Terra Sands also actually comes close in a little bit to me, only because it's like, the vocal inflections are similar, it's just the tone is different between Momo and Utahime.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, until I heard, like, Terra's very specific vocal inflections, I had no idea she was playing Utahime too.
Yeah. Like, it took me a minute, but, like, going through the second time I picked up on it more, I'm like, shit.
So in that respect, I can actually say
it sounds fine. Yeah. She's a pain in the ass little kid, but...
Yeah, again, Ghibli Witch.
Yeah.
Ghibli Witch. Yes. Yes. But,
Yeah.
Miwa is sweet as can be. Can I just say? Miwa is sweet as can be. She just is so sweet and nice to everyone.
Yeah, she's definitely just the one nice person among this group.
Yes. And she also goes through so much shit.
Yep.
She's so nice, and then everybody basically takes a shit on her. It's not even funny. Like,
and the fact that she kind of
gets
likes
her ass beat by
Gojo
Maki.
is absolutely used against her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She gets fucking the ass beat out of her by Maki. Like, Mai and Momo in the middle of the night during one of the Juju Stroll segments, like, they steal her edamame. Like,
So cruel.
everybody's mean to Miwa.
I was just enjoying that one bit where, like, after the whole big fight goes out, it's like, hey, useless Miwa here. I don't think I'm actually useless, but I didn't sleep through this whole fight. When I woke up, my sword was broken too, and I don't know why. The whole thing is just very funny.
Yeah,
and Allegra didn't
'cause she
live that very well.
asleep. Yeah. She's like, I didn't get, while everybody else was fighting, I was just asleep. I'm like, oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, you gotta be nice to yourself. Look at this way. Gojo thinks your bangs are cool. That's something.
Gojo seems to like you, kind of.
I'm sure Gojo likes all of his fangirls.
You didn't have to fight the plant
shit.
monster.
Yeah, that too.
But no, Allegra was very, very sweet and adorable. I really liked her.
Yeah, I always enjoy her the Allegra and things. She has a lot of range, which is definitely going to be important later.
I'll say what's funny is I'm more used to, like, the deeper sounding Allegra. That's what I'm more used to. I'm not used to this. So I'm like, oh shit.
I'm a little used to this because the very first thing I heard her in was in Fate Apocrypha, where she played literally 3 different characters in that show, and they all sounded different from each other.
Oh
yeah.
I never watched Fate Apocrypha, but I imagine. Holy shit.
Yeah, to the point where, like, there were several points where those characters interacted with each other, and literally, if I did not have the cards in front of me, you would not be able to convince me they were the same person.
Holy shit.
Other characters in this section, Landon McDonald as Kamo. I mean, he's basically just a very straight-laced guy, like, he's fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a particular lot outside of his fight.
No, not really.
Yeah,
He's a good, serious, sad boy.
Yeah.
He's a very sad boy.
I was like, oh yeah, we do, like, very briefly get his backstory where apparently, like, his dad is the head of his clan, but his mom is, like, a concubine, so he's
basically a bastard child. He's basically a bastard child. But magically has the freaking technique for the clan, so
Well, that's what's warped about it, is he's the bastard kid, but he's made the heir because none of the legitimate heirs were any good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, that's a lot
really
to put on a kid. Wow, great job, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Look at this. You ruined a perfectly good child. You gave it anxiety.
Great. That's fantastic.
But yeah, Landon did a really good job of making him sound very straight-laced. Also worth noting that out of this entire group, he's the one most willing to go along with Principal Boomer's plans to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then,
he comes close.
I love... You guys come close. And can I fucking say, the baseball game, where Kamo is fucking going to bat, and Itadori is the catcher, right? And Kano's just, like, asking him why he became a Jujutsu sorcerer, and Itadori gives his reason, and he's just thinking about it while sitting there, and he gets struck out because he's just not doing a fucking thing. He's like, that is a good reason. And it's like,
boom, boom, boom.
Everybody
Ow.
on Kyoto's side is just like, why didn't you swing your bat?
Yeah, I appreciate he just listens to using that explanation, and he's just like, yeah, you know what? Okay, sure.
Okay, sure. Fuck it. Why not? I suppose. It was good. No, I really do like Landon, and I'm getting more accustomed to Landon as an actor, because before this, the only other times I really, like, got into him would be in Bungo as Edogawa and as Rampo, and recently the Rohan Kishibe OVAs. I'm like, okay, I can see this, I hear it, okay, I like that. Like, it's very interesting. I really like him. And he does really good with Kamo. I want to hear more of Landon for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Laura Post as Mai is definitely pretty interesting. Because, like most Laura Post roles, it sounds very sultry and confident. Which is definitely pretty good, because that's definitely the way Mai introduces herself in front of Nobara and Nanami. It's also, like, something that's pretty funny. I definitely got a good kick out of that one bit in Juju's role where, like, Todo drags her to an idol event and she ends up falling for, like, the idol.
Yes!
Which is particularly funny because that idol is also played by, like, is also played by Laura Post. And it's funny because Laura Post mentioned on Twitter that she ships those two characters.
That's amazing.
Bless you.
Nice.
That's great. I love it. Fucking love it. No, like, Mai definitely has, like, this really tough exterior because of all the shit she was put through because of Maki. And she blames Maki for a good portion of it. But all Maki wants to do is just, like, be her own person. Instead of just being stuck as a goddamn servant in the household for all of her fucking life. Like, she wants to be her own person and, like, achieve her goal of being a really good Jujutsu sorcerer and the head of the clan. Mai is just like, why you do this? And she just, like, gets very pissed at Maki about it. But, like, the fight between Mai and Maki is I really enjoyed it a lot, and the dynamic between the two sisters. Especially when Mai finally breaks down, and she's like, why couldn't you just be happy with staying with me? Like, why couldn't you just, like, put up with this? And Maki's just like, I wouldn't be true to myself if I did, honestly. So, Maki's pretty straightforward with her motivations, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is really great.
And yeah. I mean...
But, Mai just kind of just sits there, just stuck.
To be fair, though, because it sucks is a very valid reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to describe the sisters' powers and their abilities, it's very interesting. Because you described Mai. Mai can see the curses. We haven't brought this up yet. Maki can't. Maki cannot. She has, like, 0 curse energy. So she uses cursed tools when she fights. So it's very interesting. So theoretically in the Zenin clan, oh, not theoretically, in reality, neither of them, because they're both female. And because they also don't really have good, like, cursed powers and shit, neither of them could be the heir for the Zenin clan. So, they are fucking relegated to servitude at that point. And Maki just wants none of that shit.
Mm.
Like, the backstory for the twins is very, very interesting, and the dynamic between Laura and Maki's actress is also really good. I love their fight, honestly. It was really good. And Mai just kicks ass.
So, oh yeah.
She's a no-nonsense kind of woman.
But yeah, I definitely did appreciate Laura's delivery during that whole fight. I thought she did a really good job of getting Mai's resentment across really well. Where you can definitely at the very least understand her point of view, even if it is like maybe a little pathetic in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So just idea where it's like, oh, I mean, like, why couldn't you just stay at the bottom with me? Like, yeah, we were stuck at the bottom, but I mean, all we had to do was a few chores. We didn't have to fight curses. And also
we had each other, so what is it, like...
Yeah, and also I do appreciate the review where she's like, I didn't even want to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, like, I really hate fighting curses, and I thought Laura got that across really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mai, in reality, is actually really scared of them. Ever since she was a little girl, so...
Blora did really well there, and so now let's talk about the problem with
the biggest bro who could ever bro. Fuck.
Frodo!
I love Xander Momus as Toto. I really love it. Toto, like, you described him pretty accurately, Jed. He's essentially a fucking Chad.
Yep.
A Chad and an idol stan. Oh my god.
And
Toto comes across with this, like...
His interactions with just about everyone are great.
Yeah. He doesn't fucking care. He has this, like beefy meathead kind of energy to him, but he also, like, in a weird way, does respect women. Weirdly enough, like he loves Takada, but like you can at least see that he still respects her. He doesn't like go after her in a weird, creepy way. Like he politely goes to like handshake events and is just so sweet to her. So you can tell he probably respects women. He's just a dumbass sometimes.
There's like a Juju stroll where they're like showing him like watching like an interview she's doing on TV, and she's like giving a lot of weird answers. And at one point, her co-host says like, "Are you drunk?" And he's like, "She probably is drunk. This is great."
Yeah, I love the very specific thing about that is that like before that whole thing, there's a bit where Principal Boomer is like telling all the Kyoto kids to go kill Yuji, and Chodo's very specific response to that is like, "No, I gotta go home and no, I want to go home and record a talking event."
I gotta go. No. His argument about that with fucking Landon's character. It's like, you need to stay here. No, I'm gonna go watch it. You can record it. No, I'm going to record it and watch it in real time. Fuck off. That is the true.
It's great.
I must be faithful to Takada. I'm like, oh my god, this is great.
And the other part of his character that I really enjoyed is that he's an absolute meathead, but he's also frighteningly intelligent. Particularly when it comes to fighting.
Oddly enough, he's the stereotypical meathead Chad, but he's also not the stereotypical meathead Chad. If that makes sense.
He is smart, but he can only express it in very chatty ways.
There we go.
Like having a fantasy spot in his mind where he talks with the idol lady he likes to sort out a problem. It's like, wait, something's amiss here. I need to figure this out.
Yeah. Like, and he has, like, what did he fucking call it? A 5,000 something IQ?
530,000.
And on the side, the text self-proclaimed. Oh, God. It's great. No. Fucking Xander is, like, if anything, Xander's the star in this section, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't even tell me otherwise. Because he's such a weird-ass ball of energy, but it's so great.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting because when I was casting a show in my mind, I thought to myself, this is definitely where they're going to put Gege Tang, so I'm definitely very surprised when Xander Mobius showed up here.
I'm not used to Xander Mobius sounding this deep, mostly because I still mostly know Xander Mobius from playing Persona 5, where he just sounds like a teenager.
I'm not used to really Xander Mobius at all. So I think this is actually, for me, the first time I'm actually talking about Xander in a show, in a podcast. So
I think it's mine as well.
He plays 3. He plays 3 fucking characters in this show.
Oh, right. Before I forget, you mentioned that. I looked it up, and yes, he plays my favorite of the bit villains. He plays the guy who wants to turn Gojo into a coat rack.
Yes!
I love him. He's so weird.
I love that there's actually just a Juju stroll where he goes over how he makes coat racks.
How he would make the coat rack if it was
so
Gojo.
Much. It's like, this should not be broadcast on this time slot, and you did it anyways. Oh.
Like that's the one instance. That's the other instance in terms of like the double casting where questionable, but it still fucking works. It still fucking works. Oh god, and we haven't even gotten to the other character that Xander voices yet either. Like, but fucking Toto is the biggest fucking bro that could ever fucking bro in a bromance. Like, I don't. Fucking great.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I think my favorite part of that whole joke is that like he and Yuji have a really great bromance during that whole fight, and then afterwards, Yuji snaps out of it. He's like, "Wait, why would I hang out with you again?"
Yeah, and then, no. When Itadori, Nobara, and Fushiguro are just chilling with Fushiguro because he was injured during that and he's healing up and they're having pizza. And then all of a sudden Toto shows up, he's like, yeah, my bro is pretty amazing. And they're like, the fuck? And instantly, Yuji's instant reaction to jump out the fucking window and run. He's like... The funniest deliveries for Yuji too. He's just like, I never went to your middle school. What the fuck are you talking about?
I also love the whole bit during the baseball game where like the two of them are talking and then like someone hits him in the face with a baseball.
Yeah,
and everyone
is just like nice pitch mocking and Yuji's just like Toto.
Yeah, and then Yuji's just like, oh my god, everyone hates you.
Yeah. It's just fucking great. Like, when you know that my also chimes in and is like, yeah, that's a pretty good one, Maki. You know they fucking hate you. Like, oh god, it's so good. Toto is
like
this
that whole
weird
beanball
person.
scene, it's great.
Toto is this weird amalgamation, weird human being, but we love him anyway because it's fucking great. We don't care. Toto is just great. The biggest bro they could ever fucking bro. Oh.
I'm sorry, were you gonna say something, Amon?
He's great. Just amazing. Do I have anything else to add? I find their bromance weirdly sweet in a way, partially because when you're first introduced to him, where he basically just shows up and starts wailing on Fushiguro, it's like, you kinda suck, dude. And it's later like, alright, maybe you're not so bad.
Yeah. Because the first question, he's like, what kind of woman are you into? Apparently we learned that he got that habit from his fucking master, whoever the fuck she is.
It's a beautiful extension of Toto being smart but only being able to express it in really meat-headed ways, because it's clearly like you know what you want, you have a sense of being about yourself, but it's like, hey, what's the most like only thinks with your penis dude bro way to ask that concept? What kind of women do you like?
It works so fucking well.
It's great.
I love it. Oh god.
Listen, yeah. One thing I will say about him in that respect, though, is that even though he is very specific about taste, he at least definitely where he does briefly mention like, you know what, if you're into dudes, that's cool too. And like, you know what, mad respect. You would not expect it from this guy, but mad respect.
Mad respect. Oh yeah, mad respect. Like, oh shit. No. Speaking of the what kind of girls are you into? When fucking Yuji explains that he's into girls like Jennifer Lawrence, it's basically the exact type of woman that Toto's into. He goes through that whole flashback thing like we were talking about earlier, and then the next thing you see, he's just standing there in the forest, like, tears going down his face, like, I have found my spirit brother. I have found my brother. It's so fucking good. I love it. It's so dumb, but I love it.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, just like their bromance. That Itadori does not want or need. Oh, shit.
Okay, we spent a pretty good amount of time in this section, so we probably should move on.
Listen, we love
Yes,
Toto.
let's.
Listen, Toto is worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyway, we talked about some kids, so now it's time to talk about curses.
Curses!
Plus a very sad boy.
Yeah.
That I love.
Yeah.
Actually.
So here we have Mahito, Suguru Geto, Hanami, Joko, and Junpei Yori because there really wasn't anywhere else I could put in.
Yeah, Junpei. My sad.
Yeah, so Mahito is a curse representing the fear and hostility all people have towards each other. And his curse technique lets him transform souls and basically turn people into weird monsters or meat puppets.
Mahito's scary.
Yeah. Suguru Geto is a mysterious monk who assists the curses in their plans to overthrow the Jujutsu sorcerers and eliminate Gojo. Hanami is a curse representing the fear all people have of the forest and nature. And their curse basically lets them control plants and use it to drain curse energy and stuff. Joko is a curse representing the fear all people have of the earth, and it never explains exactly what his curse does, but he does have a volcano for a head, and he can set people on fire, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Lastly, Junpei is an ordinary high schooler who's a bit of an edgelord thanks to all the bullying he's gone through. And he becomes friends with Yuji while also having Mahito take him under his wing, and that ends very, very badly.
It ends with Steph being a sad person. I like Junpei.
Yeah.
I do. It ends with a sad.
Yeah.
It ends with a sad for Steph.
So anyway, playing Mahito, we have Lucien Dodge, who explains his characters as Takumu Mayuzumi in its own world, Amuro Ray in the modern incarnations of the Universal Century stuff in Mobile Suit Gundam, and Lord Elmaloy II, aka Weaver Velvet, in both of the modern Fate stuff. Playing Suguru Geto, we have Lex Lang, who explains his characters as Blue Dragon and Blue Dragon, Goemon Ishikawa in most versions of Lupin III, and Kenshiro in the old Mock Entertainment dub of Fist of the North Star. Hanami is played by Marie Westbrook, who doesn't really have a lot of anime credits aside from an unnamed role in Shironeko Zero Chronicle and Kyoko Ozaki in Bungo Stray Dogs, but she has done some voice work with video games, and she's also done some on-screen camera work, including, weirdly, Amy Maid in Titanic 2. I just found that randomly.
What?
She was in Titanic 2. I didn't even know there was a Titanic 2.
That's why I'm very confused. There was a Titanic 2.
Apparently.
What? Okay. Sure, I guess.
I feel like it was one of those ironic, made for some sort of television channel kind of deals.
Oh,
probably. Anyway, Joko is played by our ADR director, Michael Sorick, who is also plays such characters as Andromon in Digimon Adventure, Ubertino in Arte, and Deadpool in Mob Psycho 100. Lastly, Junpei is played by Nicholas Roy, who has played such characters as Nicole Asgard in My Next Life as a Villainess, Maki Kudo in Digimon Fusion, and because Megan would literally hunt me down if I did not mention it, Chia Nakamura in Bungo Stray Dogs.
Ha. Oh, Chuya.
So I guess since he kind of has the least to do here, let's probably start with Geto. Because he's basically the same man of mystery for, this first season.
Yeah, I don't... The only thing we know about Geto is he's involved with some sort of incident that happened prior to the start of the show. There are bits and pieces about, exposition that allude to that. But we don't know the details of that right now. But... You're gonna think I'm fucking crazy when I say this. Lex, Lang, and Geto, it sounds like an even more dickish Shigure Soma, if you can fucking believe it.
I could kind of hear it. It definitely is... In general, it is definitely very interesting hearing Lex Lang here, because... he hasn't, totally left anime, but he definitely doesn't do it as much these days, so I'm definitely very surprised to see his name here.
Yeah. I don't hear him in enough things, so it's a very interesting little treat to hear him pop up in this.
Yeah, I think he reprises Goemon constantly, but otherwise he doesn't really do that much anime nowadays. So definitely very cool he was here.
Yeah, but yeah, he doesn't. There's not really a lot to this character right now.
Yeah, his whole deal is probably not going to be explained until maybe the beginning of the second season. It is pretty interesting though, but for now he's just a man of mystery, and Lex does a pretty good job on him. He definitely does come off of the smartest guy in the room about all his curse buddies, and I think Lex gets that across pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, because let's face it, the curses that he's working with aren't the smartest bunch sometimes.
Yeah.
Jogo. Mahito. Hanami at least has some sense. Hanami has a little bit of sense. Mahito and especially Jogo are stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything do you say about Hanami?
I like Marie. I like her a lot, actually. Because Hanami, she's described, you described her as, the fear of, with, nature and all this kind of stuff, and, destruction of nature. So the way that I could think of it for Marie is she kind of has this ethereal, mystical, kind of mythical kind of voice to her. Almost on the level of, a god in a sense, if that makes sense. It's she's the incarnate of Mother Nature and all the bad parts of it. I think that's probably the best way to put it, and I think it works very well. Honestly, I really like it.
Yeah. The first time we hear Hanami speak is just this speech about it's a speech about how humans are destroying the planet and how Mother Nature needs more time, and you know what? That's definitely very relatable. I mean, seriously, the Gulf of Mexico was on fire last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So definitely a very understandable sentiment there.
Yeah.
And you know,
global warming, that doesn't exist. Yeah, fuck off.
I found it interesting with the other cursed spirits talking about Hanami outside of its presence, and it's just from the sound of it, it's not even particularly a cursed spirit per se. They describe it as a nature spirit that's on the verge of becoming a curse.
Yeah. I think that's how to describe it, yeah.
Once again, if it's going for obvious nature metaphor, that definitely makes sense. Because again, people suck.
More or less.
Yeah, people more or less suck. A lot.
But I definitely didn't like Marie here. This is my first time ever really hearing her in anything, but she does have a very distinct and kind of powerful voice, so I definitely appreciated it. I also did kind of like Hanami's whole little conversation with Mahito about oh, you're a curse. You should follow your interests and enjoy yourself more when you're fighting people. And how you actually can hear Hanami get a little more excited while they're fighting Yuji and Todo. That was pretty fun.
Because out of all of the curses basically in this section, obviously with the exceptions of Geto and Junpei, because they're both human, I assume Geto's human at this point, because, he's... Never mind. Hanami seems like the most reserved. Between Mahito, Hanami, and Jogo, she seems the most reserved. And it kind of brings a different dynamic and balance between the special grade curses, and I actually really like that a lot, honestly. Can I also just say, the first time we actually hear Marie as Hanami, because before this, any interactions with Hanami, her voice is very distorted and in a weird language you don't understand. The fucking Juju stroll that's at the end, it's fucking Hanami's all sad because Jogo ruined her plans at school. I mean, it's just the cutest and sweetest thing. To which Mahito in a fucking sailor uniform is a weird image in and of itself.
I definitely appreciate both Mahito
Side
and
note.
both Mahito and Hanami were in like sailor uniforms. That was amazing.
I mean, Hanami, like, even though she looks very, very, she's not human. It makes sense because Hanami, like, for all intents and purposes, kind of presents female, I guess. But Mahito in a fucking sailor outfit, where Mahito presents as a boy mostly, like, that's just fucking nuts. And I think, didn't he have the pigtails or some shit too? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he did. I was like, what in the actual fuck is this? I just couldn't stop. And then, oh my god, the little end of that Juju stroll where Hanami realizes, wait, this soil wasn't good enough for the plants anyway. And then Jogo shows up and he's just all shy and embarrassed about shit. And it's like, oh no, is this one of those weird ass high school romance shit that they're doing right now?
Probably.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
On that note, let's talk about Volcano Head and Jogo.
God. Okay.
Jogo is fucking dumb.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You can start.
Oh, I love this because he sounds like a henchman from an 80s cartoon.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
actually,
he does.
you're right.
His Bebop and Rocksteady vibe is so strong, and I love it. Thank you, Michael.
It's great.
What I love...
Great, I love it.
I absolutely love the scene where they are introducing Jogo to the audience, where he's talking with Geto in the restaurant, and then all of a sudden, at random, just within the radius of Jogo, just people just randomly set on fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I really don't like the one bit before that happens. You just see like one restaurant worker who's just like, my instincts are telling me to go nowhere near that table.
And then he just straight up quits, and he's like, I'm out! And he's the one survivor, basically, because of that.
A smart guy.
Smart man. Smart man.
Like, it's great, because they're having this conversation, you know, about Sakuna, and how, they need to get more fingers, but they need to be very careful about how they do this. Well, in the meantime,
because they also have to deal with Gojo.
Well, in the meantime, like, every human within the radius of their conversation just spontaneously combusts. Like, it is an absolutely intimidating scene of introduction for them.
It is.
Yeah.
And then the fight with Gojo.
Yeah, I appreciate that big fight of Gojo, which is basically just to show how strong Gojo is.
Yes.
It's just Jogo getting dumped on constantly.
Like, the whole point of that fight is to show that Gojo is OP as fuck.
Yep. But I also like the fact that Jogo
just,
survives.
like, gets dunked on so hard. Yeah. The fact that Jogo somehow fucking survived that, mostly because of Hanami. Hanami is good. Hanami's, like, cares. If she didn't care, your ass was done, Jogo.
Yeah, I definitely just appreciate how, like, over the course of that entire fight, like, Jogo goes from sounding like a really cocky and confident to, like, man, I might be screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the funniest thing is, like, it's one of those I told you so kind of things, because Geto was telling him, no, we shouldn't do it this way, you dumbass. He's like, how strong do you think I am compared to Gojo right now? I was like, well, maybe or this, or Sukuna, and it's like, oh, maybe this. And then Gojo's like, I'll take care of this shit. And Geto's just like, I don't know, but that's not a good idea. It's one of those I told you so moments after his ass gets handed to him.
And then he's dumped into the water spirits realm. And then the next conversation they have after he loses is just like, okay, yeah, you know what, we're gonna go with your plan.
Listen, yeah, I think my favorite bit of that is that, like, after, like, Gojo rips his head off, there's, like, a Juju stroll where, like, Mahito and Hanami are, like, playing around just kicking his head.
Yeah.
He's suddenly a fucking soccer ball's head. It's so great. It's like, this is my life today. Like, this is my life today, I guess. I don't know.
I don't get paid enough to deal with these people. Am I getting paid? I don't know.
I don't think I am. Am I getting paid at all? Nope. Sorry, bud. Sorry, friend. It's funny because fucking... I wasn't 100% paying attention when you were talking about Michael's other roles. Fucking Dimple from Mob Psycho.
Oh, yeah.
Jogo is basically the Dimple all over again because Dimple gets shit on a lot too.
I was gonna say, wait, he might be more competent than Dimple, but actually not really.
No, Dimple is more competent than Jogo. Are you fucking kidding me? Not by much, but he's more competent than fucking Jogo. Like, let's be real here. Like, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, Michael is definitely a lot of fun here. I definitely do appreciate just like the gruffness in his tone that makes him sound like, and he's been around for a very long time, but he's a lot more crotchety than he is, like, maybe wise.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just his whole delivery during that whole fight where it just becomes apparent how stupidly powerful Gojo is.
Gojo is OP as fuck.
Yep.
Like, it's not even an understatement. He just is OP as fuck.
Yeah, especially when like Gojo just explained to him how his power works, and he's just like, okay, maybe I'll play along with this. And then just the sort of realization of, oh man.
We are in like, way over our heads, apparently.
You done hecked up, son.
I have made an error in judgment, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I think my favorite part of that is like when Gojo in the middle of the fight teleports, brings Yuji with him and comes back, and then like and Joker's just like, wait, why is he here? And Gojo's just like, oh well, he's like, oh no, I'm bringing you here for a lesson. He's like, wait, are you serious? It's like, you don't think I'll just use this kid as a hostage? And Gojo's like, oh, it's fine, you're too weak.
Like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
And Joker was just so mad.
I mean, and then again, Gojo proceeds to kick the shit out of Joko. Like, he dunks on him so fucking hard. It's great.
But yeah, Michael's a lot of fun here.
Oh yeah.
Going from fun, I guess we should get to sad times and talk about Junpei.
Junpei.
Junpei. I love this child. Oh, Junpei makes me sad.
Yeah, I definitely do appreciate that Nicholas just sounds like the very perfect epitome of a teenage lord. He just does a very good...
Sorry, teenage lord got me.
Yeah, he does a very good job of just selling his attempts to sound like he's trying his hardest, to sound like he has a very disaffected attitude towards everything, while also making it clear that he's just putting on an act to protect himself from all the bullying he's gone through. And I definitely do dig a lot of the conversations we had with Mahito, about the natures of souls and whatnot. And how, like, it very much sounded like the sort of stuff a very depressed Lord Teen would buy into, so... definitely very easy to see how Mahito was just kind of stringing him along that whole time. And one thing I do want to talk about briefly, that's just kind of like a very fun little tidbit. That whole conversation where he and Mahito talk about, like, the opposite of fondness is indifference thing. Like, the reason that whole conversation turns into a debate about translation is specifically because in the manga, Junpei did bring up the specific quote, the opposite of love is indifference, and how it's the sort of thing Japanese people would buy into, even though hate is obviously worse. But there was an addendum at the end of the chapter where that was brought up, where it turned out that Gege Akutami, when he pulled that quote, he actually had no idea someone foreign came up with it. So he realized he screwed up, so... It is entirely possible that entire exchange was just either the anime staff or Akutami just making fun of himself.
Interesting, okay.
Maybe a little both, because I noticed there are, what is it? In that part of the manga, there's like a bonus page at the end of a chapter where he mentions, like, Junpei's whole story arc would have worked better if I'd actually included, like, scenes A, B, and C in here. I wish I'd done that. And lo and behold, those scenes are actually in the anime, so... Also, it's very funny in retrospect I don't know what to make of pulling that quote out anyways, given where it comes from. Oh boy, I don't know if I honestly don't know if what implications he's trying to make with that. That's Okay. That's a lot, dude.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that quote's from, by the way?
No, actually I'm not.
Oh, that is by... Hold on, let me get his name. Give me a second. That's by a guy named Eli Wiesel, and he is a Holocaust survivor. And that's what that line's about.
Well then.
Oh.
I think that's specifically in the context of, like, the Nazis are bad, but the people who just didn't do much of anything are also bad. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, it's grisly. Anyways, let's talk about something a little less depressing.
Wow.
I really love Junpei. Junpei make me sad. And so here's the thing. I think for a while when I was watching the show, Junpei actually wasn't confirmed for a little while. And I was just like, who the fuck is this? I want to know. And then finally we find out it's Nicholas Roy, and I'm like, oh.
I'm pretty familiar with Nicholas at this point, so, like, the second I heard him, I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely Nicholas.
Like, the only other time I've really heard Nicholas Roy was Chuya. Honestly, where I paid attention to Nicholas Roy was Chuya. And then I think there was one time where I actually guessed him correctly. I can't remember what fucking show it was. But, for Junpei, because the only other major comparison I have is Chuya, what did I fucking say? I said, like, where is my dang note about it? It's like, okay, the tone of voice is very similar to Chuya, but Junpei has a bit more of a breathy, airy, like, even more of a breathy, airy quality compared to Chuya. Because, of course, Chuya in Bungo Stray Dogs is a fucking mobster, like, badass kind of punk. And Junpei is just this bullied kid. Like, so obviously there's a very big difference between these two characters. But Junpei makes me sad. Because it's like, his story and all of the bullying he goes through, and the fact that adults don't help him at all, which is freaking... it's a shame. It tells you a lot. Like, this show, weirdly enough, like, digs into, like, societal problems in a very realistic way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It really does. Like, the whole... We joke about Principal Boomer, but some of those, like, traits and characteristics are present in terms of, like, current societal, like, issues and things like that. And the bullying the Junpei being bullied is another one of those things, and it doesn't pull the punches on it either. Because Junpei has a fucking, like, handful of cigarette burn marks on his forehead because of his bully.
Yeah.
And that's why he hides it with his hair. Like, it's just, like, so gut-wrenching what he goes through. It's like, this boy makes me sad. And then when he has his interactions with Itadori, oh my god, I loved it. I loved it so much. And then I got sad, because Mahito's a fucking dick. I was hoping beyond hope that Junpei was gonna end up joining Jujutsu Tech. And I thought that was implied in the fucking opening theme. I got upset.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate when, like, again, talking about the end reviews, when James Becker got to that episode, and he was like, I watched the opening in full for the first time when I watched this episode, and man, that whole thing is a lie.
Yeah. It's a fucking lie. And it made me fucking upset. I'm like, Junpei is a good character, too. And when you find out, because he basically does end up, like, manifesting his cursed energy and his technique through this whole debacle, it's like, it's a goddamn jellyfish. And it's actually pretty cool. Like, he's a Shikigami user similar to Fushiguro, But his is a jellyfish. And it's kind of cool, actually, what it does. So, I'm like, no! Mahito, you fucking bastard!
Yeah, he doesn't get to use it for very long.
No. It makes me sad because now I know that the only reason Junpei exists is to basically fucking motivate Itadori to fucking choke a bitch. Because Itadori gets pissed. Gets very pissed. But no, I like Nicholas Roy as Junpei. It makes me sad.
Yeah, I definitely did. I definitely did enjoy his performance here. Just like you were saying, I did enjoy like how he bonded with Yuji over like their shared love of movies and stuff. One thing I will say though is that I do wish like during that whole scene where he's in his gymnasium after like his mom dies and he's freaking out about everything. I do wish that Nicholas had sounded like maybe a little more emotive in that moment. Like I thought it could have sounded, could have had a little bit more dynamic.
Hold on, are you referring to him? Are you referring to him encountering the other kid in the gymnasium, or are you referring to the miniature flashback during that where Mahito's explaining what happened to his mom?
No, I'm talking about like him and the other kid in the gymnasium.
Okay. Because weirdly enough, I had the opposite problem with that. Like, I had, like, the moment where he's talking to Mahito after his mom was killed, like, it was, I think it might have been just the vocal performance and how, because Junpei is very breathy and airy, it just was kind of a little weird to me in that moment, where he's freaking the fuck out about what happened to his mom. Like, it didn't quite sell it to me on that one. But I think he actually sold it during the gymnasium thing, which is weird.
Yeah.
So I had the opposite problem for you.
I think he definitely did really nail the scene where like he's with Yuji in the hallway and like he breaks down about what happened to his mom. I thought he did really well there.
Yeah, that one sold it. I was good with that one. I was like, this child has gone through enough shit. Let Junpei have nice things.
Yeah, that he doesn't.
And then he just... And then again, Mahito's a dick.
That storyline really did not go the way I was expecting it to.
No, even Andrew was like, if he didn't join Jujutsu Tech, I at least expected him to join the villains.
No, he's definitely, him and Yuji are going to be friends, and then they're going to get torn apart by the respective sides they're on, and it's going to be a thing, and it's like, nope, he's just grist for the mill, he's dead. He's
just now a motivation for Itadori to fucking murder Mahito. So
and Mahito doesn't even care.
Mahito gives zero fucks.
Evil man.
Oh god. Oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I don't know, we should probably talk about it.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy!
Lucian is so great here. He is so fucking awful.
I love it. I love it so much,
like
and I want to fucking punt Mahito into the sun.
He's absolutely childish, and yet he's just an absolute evil asshole about it, too. I think that's what makes his performance as Mahito actually kind of intimidating.
Like, Lucian has this creepy and unsettling presence with Mahito that works so well, and then Mahito's also very cunning, he's very maniacal, but he's also very curious, and that's the scariest part. He is so curious about the construct of a person or a curse's soul. That's the scariest part, is because he's so curious about that. And oh my god, what sucks for me this. I've been replaying Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and he's my boy Felix.
Oh no.
Mahito is a more evil-sounding Felix, and I don't know how to feel about it, because when I ran Blue Lions, that was my guy. I don't know how
confused and conflicted.
I'm just like, why? Felix was my boy. And it's like, basically, it's almost like exactly Felix in terms of like tone. but he's just a dick. More of a dick than Felix is in the game. Like, what the fuck? Ah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, but yeah, like, Lucian was really great here. He did a really good job of switching between sounding like, kind of a wannabe nihilist whenever, he's talking with Junpei about souls and whatnot. And then coming off as more of a playful man-child whenever he's, like, fighting Nanami or Yuji. And definitely, during that whole bit where things go very bad for Junpei, and he and Sukuna just, like, very briefly joined forces to laugh at Yuji. Lucian's delivery there was really good. It just really sold how horrible that whole moment was.
Can I also fucking say, Mahito got dunked on by Sukuna. He got so dunked on by Sukuna, and it was fucking great. Because Sukuna gives no fucks.
That was just like, alright, look, yeah, we had a good laugh at the kid expense. So don't fuck on my turf, buddy.
And then he just pops on his turf and is like, I fucking told you, step off.
What did I tell you not 15 minutes ago?
Yes, fuck off. Slice. Sukuna gives zero fucks. I love it. I love Sukuna too. He gives zero fucks. He's a bastard, but I love him. A lot of these characters are so stupidly enjoyable. It's great. But no, he straight up hard dunks on Mahito. It was like, oh, you bitch, you deserve that one. Oh, God.
Yeah, I gotta say, between this and the character he plays in Mugen Train, this has definitely reminded me why Lucian Dodge is, like, really good at villain roles, why he needs to get them more often.
Oh my god, yeah, because Andrew and I watched Mugen Train recently, too. Fuck you right. Oh my god. Because I watched most of Jujutsu, like, months ago, but I didn't finish it until today, because I was like, oh, we're gonna be recording this soon, I may as well just wait. But going from Jujutsu to Mugen Train back to Jujutsu is like, okay, yes. I would love to hear Lucian Dodger's more villain. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I love to hear Lucian Dodge and things in general. So
Yeah.
he's great.
So I didn't got you guys want to comment on in this section.
I'm good.
I think I'm good too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sad about Junpei still.
Yeah,
Junpei sad hours.
Pour one out for a real one.
Pour one out for a real one.
It was very unfortunate.
And you get to watch all the splatter movies you want and wherever people go after they die in this universe.
Yup. Junpei sad hours in this bitch.
So with that, it's time to talk about some of the kids for the Tokyo branch of Jujutsu Tech. So typically, the second years, we have Toge Inabaki, Panda, and Maki Zenin. There is one third year called Akutsu who is vaguely mentioned, but it probably won't be popping up in the main story until like maybe the end of season 2. And while I actually haven't read it, I'm pretty sure his whole deal is explained in the prequel manga Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is getting a movie this year. So,
oh, okay,
that'll be
cool.
fun.
Yeah,
'Cause
buddy.
I'm very curious about this one. I'm very curious about this guy because, like, the story is that the third years got their asses suspended, so they couldn't take part in the sister exchange event because usually I think the second and the third years, or just the third years, one of the two. So the second years go to the first years, like, hey, can you do us a solid? Because the third years are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So.
So talking about the second years here, Inabaki is a sorcerer who uses cursed speech, meaning that his words can literally affect people. So he limits his speech by basically just speaking in food ingredients or sushi toppings.
Salmon.
Panda is not a panda, and is in fact...
Panda is in fact not a panda.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love it.
Yeah, so he is in fact... So in reality, he is a cursed corpse created by Principal Yaga that has its own personality and fighting abilities. He also has, like, 3 cores, the Panda core, the Gorilla core, and I don't think it is ever actually explained what the third one is yet.
No, it's not. But we know it's like he has an older brother and sister. The brother is the gorilla, the sister we don't know yet. Well, I imagine Jet fucking knows, but... I don't know.
Actually, if it was explained, I did not remember it, so I don't know either.
No, I meant in the manga, so...
I'm saying if it was explained, I don't remember, so I actually don't know.
Oh, gotcha. But to say, yeah, it's not explained in the anime, so... no idea.
Lastly, Maki Zenin is the twin sister of Mai and an outcast from the Zenin clan, who was born without the ability to use curse techniques, but instead has superhuman strength. And her goal is to someday stick it to her family and take over the clan.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love, like, everybody loves Maki. Maki's a badass.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Maki, including Nobara.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that whole thing is not a metaphor for anything in particular, just not at all.
Go
I
away,
think
Andrew.
they're good friends.
Andrew just popped in and he said, I ship it.
As you should.
Yes, that's precisely that one Jujutsu girl they're asking about whether like cats or dogs or whatever. Nobara's response is like, "No way, I like so and so," and it's like, this is what people in a relationship say when they're asked these questions. I see what you're doing.
Yep, it's very cute.
Playing Inabaki, we have Zenomobis, who has played all the roles I mentioned before, as well as Beto in The Sentence of a Bookworm, and Wellfit in Hunter x Hunter 2011. Playing Panda, we have Matthew David Rudd, who has played such characters as Lukai Luka, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, Ball in Irmakun, and Rafe Wazer in Tower of God. And Maki is played by Allegra Clark, who has again played everything I mentioned before, but also Archer of Red, Assassin of Red, and Reika Rikudo in Fate Apocrypha, the 3 roles I mentioned before.
Back to Fate Apocrypha.
You can probably get Inabaki out of the way real quick. I mean, again, he basically just speaks in food ingredients, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Largely monotone as well. One thing I do very much appreciate, however, is that it is played fairly distinctly from Todo, so that this was one that I didn't notice myself. You know, the double casting. Same with Allegra Clark. I didn't particularly... I don't know if I was paying attention or if, you know...
Allegra did not surprise me because, again, the 3 characters who did Apocrypha, they were very distinct from each other to the point where I would not have believed they were the same person if I didn't know it. So I definitely know she has that kind of range.
Yeah.
That did not surprise me.
That makes sense.
What were you going to say, Amon?
I was going to make a smarmy comment about how I imagine the casting for Toge was like, I have a character who doesn't say... Hey, Xander, you play a lot of characters who don't actually say anything, right? You want to play him? Remember that Persona game where the main character doesn't actually talk, right? Hey, let's have you play him.
Ah, shit. Not long.
Yeah.
It's a type of role he has a lot of experience playing.
Oh, wait, you do the Smash narrator too? Hey, we have this bold hothead. Why don't you play him too?
Shit. No, I appreciate that both Xander and Allegra, even though they were double cast, the performances are distinctly different from each other. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the major characters that they voice. Again, the Kobrak dude, I can't really count, but you know.
It also is worth noting that there is a point where Miwa and Maki do briefly fight each other, and honestly, you really would not be able to tell they were voiced by the same person.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know, you wouldn't know, and it's weird. It's weird, but it fucking works. It's probably weird to record it though. You probably have to do one character at a time for it first. Like, oh man, I can imagine.
She definitely earned her paycheck.
Oh, yep.
And, like, that kind of thing also gets me thinking, do you, like, record against your own voice? Do they put that in, or do you record against the Japanese for both? Like, these are interesting things that I'd love to get, like, a Reddit AMA to ask about.
No, yeah, that'd be very interesting to, like, do you go through one character first in the scene? Do you, like, have to do both at the same time? Which I highly doubt
No,
that.
I highly doubt that as
whiplash.
well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That'd be a horrible mistake. It could be a bad mistake.
That's a rookie mistake people who've never directed before do.
Yeah. Like, the logistics behind recording something like that would be very, very interesting. Similar to an extent with Xander, because there is the interaction that, Todo kind of has with Inumaki when Todo is beating the shit out of Fushiguro and Inumaki's the one who stops Todo from doing it. Like, kind of similar extent, but not as much of an extent for Allegra.
Right, because,
Yeah.
I mean, Inumaki is pretty monotone, and Todo is, well, Todo.
Yeah.
Todo is just a bro.
But yeah, I really do like Allegra Clark's Maki. She definitely has a kind of very tough girl attitude to her performance. And it's kind of like Nobara, but Maki is also nowhere near as dumb as Nobara is. And I love that, like, by default, Allegra makes Maki come off as the smartest person in the room above the Tokyo kids.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've got Inumaki, you've got our main three, and Panda. So, yeah, Maki's making the smartest person in the room by default.
Yeah.
And, you know, I absolutely
Maki's the smartest.
love her interactions with Laura Post. Like, not just in their fight, but in the flashback as well.
Yup. It's very, very precious, and it hurts sometimes.
Mm.
But frickin' Maki goes through a lot of shit, because we find out that, she, technically speaking, could, like, she's at the level of being, like, a first or second grade sorcerer, but the Zenin clan has been, like, interfering with her getting promoted to that this entire time, so she's been a 4th grade for a while.
Yeah.
Because they are vindictive about her doing this and setting out to basically, like, take over.
Until her talent was just absolutely unavoidable.
Yep. Like, the second she just went and kicked so much ass during the group battle, like, you cannot avoid it for so long. That, and I really like the end of the show, too, where you have both Todo and Mei and Principal Boomer, and they're talking about who to promote in the Tokyo school, and you have the 3 first years plus Panda and Maki getting promoted to 1st grade sorcerers all at once.
Yeah. It's funny to bring that up because it's something I hadn't noticed until this rewatch where Gojo is having a conversation with Mei and like she gets what seems to be a check in the mail. So I'm wondering very specifically if Gojo paid Mei off to like get a recommendation.
I mean, she is very into money, right?
It's possible, but
I would not put bribery. I don't think either of these people are above bribery.
it's possible because right before that too, Gojo's on the phone with Utahime, casually like asking about like bringing people to like a bar or some shit, and he talks about bringing the kids because like, oh, I'm a lightweight, why not bring the students? And Utahime is just like, I don't know. And then the next thing is him giving money to Mei, and then you have the promotion of these 5 kids. And so it's like, he might have tried to go to Utahime to try and promote the kids first. Possibly. Because the only other issue is there might be a traitor in the school somewhere. So they have to be like very careful with what goes on. And because Gojo and Utahime are on the same side of like, oh, there probably is a good shot there's a traitor. We have to be careful what we say and do.
Right.
So, I actually didn't put 2 and 2 together now that Jet mentioned it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, actually. So Gojo basically is being a stupid idiot, getting these kids promoted. Potentially. Because Gojo gives 0 fucks. There are a lot of characters in the show that give 0 fucks. Gojo is one of them. He's very much one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Sukuna's another. And Mei, so long as you give her money, she doesn't fucking care either.
Trying to say, what else did I have with Laura? Allegra, my bad. Let's see, I did dig her whole conflict with Mai. I thought you could really tell through Allegra's tone that while she doesn't, regret leaving his edit, she did at least feel bad that Mai got drawn into her mess, and he at least definitely understands her resentment.
Yeah.
And also really dug Allegra's delivery during the whole scene where she leaves the clan and she's getting talked down to by her dad, but she just kind of brushes it off. I thought Allegra did really well there, and it definitely gave a really good sense of the kind of person Maki is.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and General Allegra is doing a really big job here.
Yep. I love it. I love these fucking characters, man.
Yeah. And of course, before we leave this session, we should talk about Panda, who, again, is not
the real star of the show of this segment.
Really? Allegra and Xander are great. Matthew is amazing.
And he's voicing a giant talking panda. Who's not a panda?
I'm prone to think that, listen, I'm prone to enjoy Allegra a lot more than Panda, character development-wise, because freaking Maki's a badass.
Oh, sure.
But Panda's still amazing. Panda's still amazing, and I love Panda.
Matthew's performance as Panda is just probably one of the most fun of the show, other than Todo.
Yeah. Because Panda has this, Maki has a big sister energy to her. Panda has the big brother energy to him. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the two of them basically look out for the first years. And, Maki's just kind of there as well. But, no, they're both very, very supportive. And freaking Panda, what's a note I had about Panda? It's a fun he's a fun standout with a gentle that has a gentle gruffness and a twinge of wild animal to him, because sweet lord, when Panda goes into gorilla mode,
and he
fucks shit up.
One thing I also really happen to like about the performance as Panda is, Panda is also, like Todo, a surprisingly intelligent character for what they are initially presented as.
Yes. Panda is very, very intelligent.
But whereas Todo is more of a sort of a problem-solving intelligence, working out an enemy's curse, how to counteract it. Panda is more of a broad strategist.
Yes. Yeah. That's his style of fighting. It's he's very tactful, but in a broad sense. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I will also say he had some pretty good comedic delivery. I definitely at one point, someone tried to have a little conversation with him, and he's like, "Me Panda, I Panda, me don't speak human," and I'm like, "Ah, that's amazing."
Yes. Yup. Oh my god! And then the Juju Stroll bits. There was 2 episodes in a row where the Juju Stroll bit was asking do you like cats or dogs? Do you prefer rice or bread? And then both of them are basically repeats. And fucking Panda's following everybody around as they make their answers. And then he's like, "Of course it's this, because I'm a goddamn panda."
I appreciate that with the second one when where Panda's like, "Man, what's going on?" And then he's just like, "Man, they're running out of ideas."
Yeah. It's they're just running out of ideas at this point. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I also appreciate that, during the baseball episode, we get, little baseball cards for, everyone, little bits of trivia about them. Pandas is just, watch to punch a zebra someday.
I mean, let's be real. Zebras have it coming. look at them. They just look at you all smug and eat their grass and take a shit. They know what they're doing. They know what they did.
As Mahito sometimes has sometimes described humans, they eat, sleep, and screw.
Fuck zebras. Fuck zebras in Planet Zoo. They are really hard to build an enclosure for. And they shouldn't be.
This is the direction this conversation has gone now? Is Planet Zoo?
I'm getting off my soapbox. But goddamn. Career mode sucks.
God.
It's hard. Alright, I'm getting off this tangent.
Never change, Patrick.
Never change, Patrick. I miss you, you fucker. I miss all y'all, you bastards.
So anything else you wanted to comment on?
I'm dying over here. It's fine.
These kids
Everything's
are fun.
Fine.
This is a pretty good trio of kids. With that, it is finally time to start getting into our main 5 characters.
The meat and potatoes.
So we're starting with Satoru Gojo, Nobara Kugisaki, and Megumi Fujikaro.
Oh boy.
Megumi is a first... Megumi is the first hero to Jujutsu Tech who gets taken up with Yuji while on a mission. And after watching him eat Sukuna's finger, he tries to save him out of his own strict sense of justice. His curse lets him control Tachigami, and when one dies, the other can inherit his abilities. Nobara Kugisaki is another first year who moved to Tokyo from the countryside, and she's extremely foul-mouthed and has a bit of an attitude, and she's also really dumb, so it's great.
Yes. She has no sense of social cues, and she doesn't know how to read a fucking room. It's amazing.
Look, the second years...
But Nobara is a badass.
The second years of the Tokyo branch of Jujutsu Tech are incredibly intelligent strategists. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to fight. The first years all share a brain cell between them. Mostly it goes to Megumi.
Mostly Megumi's. No. Here's how this goes. It's Megumi's brain cell. Nobara and Itadori just share it. That's how it should go. That's about right. Fuck.
Nobara's technical...
Megumi told me it's my turn with the brain cell.
Shut up, Itadori.
Gojo probably steals it every once in a while, too.
Oh my god.
No, that's a man who's learned he doesn't need brains.
No. Gojo doesn't steal it from the kids. He steals it from Nanami.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Nobara's technique lets her use a straw doll and nails to basically resonate with the body parts or blood of like any earth spirit or object you can grab. Basically just like a voodoo doll or something.
It's voodoo.
Oh my god,
think that's
so
a creative
badass.
Power and it works for... Oh my god. I think that's a very interesting and creative power to use. Honestly.
And lastly, Satoru Gojo is, Satoru Gojo, and basically he is one of the two tiers at Jujutsu Tech, and is also the strongest character in the series, though that is not an exaggeration.
He's OP as fuck!
He literally introduces himself as being the strongest, and basically nothing that happens afterwards in the series is anything to disprove that.
Yeah.
In fact, it is so true that literally all of our villains' plans kind of hinge around getting him out of the way.
Like, not even killing him, just pushing him off to the left a little bit so that they can do their thing.
Gojo talks a big game, but he backs it up. He does. Holy shit. It's great.
Yeah.
Gojo is also probably the prettiest motherfucker in the show.
With those baby blue ocean eyes, I think being related to his curse. So, Jet, why don't you tell us about his curse?
And before I get into that, I'm going to propose something that's going to sound very weird, but just roll with me.
Oh no.
He comes out to me as a much prettier version of Vaster Stampede.
You're not wrong.
Oh my god.
There's something there.
I mean, like he has the same glasses.
They have very similar personalities too.
Well, hold on.
There's a real. I'm gonna be really stupid in public to obfuscate how smart I am.
He's prettier than Vaster Stampede, but has the personality of Osamu Dazai. And I say this with very valid reasons.
So Vash the Stampede, then.
Yeah.
No! No! Even Dazai is not the same personality as Vaster Stampede. Are you kidding me? No!
Gojo's technique is called Infinity, and I'm going to try my best to explain this one.
Good luck.
It somehow causes any attacker movement directed at him to slow down to the point where it seems like they aren't moving. He can also, basically move really fast, teleport, and, I guess fire gravity bombs and stuff. How does any of that work, you might ask? It just does.
I was like, fuck if I know, he just does it.
Look, all I know is that he uses a superpower, and it's like, his superpower is the Jupiter sequence from 2001. Alright then! Cool!
I like 2001!
So do I, that's why I'm excited. It's like I was a little disappointed Jogo didn't turn into a Star Child at the end. That would have been great. Really confusing, but great.
Hey, he got to be a soccer ball. We gotta win there.
There you
go. Anyway, playing Megami, we have Robbie Damon, who has played such characters as Mitsuki in Boruto Naruto Next Generations, Kalia Badwin in Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, and Tuxedo Mask in the Vince dub of Sailor Moon. Nobara is played by Ann Yakuto, who has played such characters as Taisha in Children of Wales, Lola in the Hidden Dungeon only Yaku can enter, and Hiromi Shirane in Kuromukuro. Lastly, Satoru Gojo is played by the one and only Keiichi Tang, who has played such characters as Hendrickson in The Seven Deadly Sins, Joko in Megalobox, and Osamu Dazai in Rugrats Redux.
And now we come full circle. Fuck.
Whoa, boy, here we go.
I feel like Gojo is going to take up a lot of this section, so let's start with Megami.
Okay. Okay. Shit. I really like Robbie. Here's what's weird. I'm used to Robbie Damon performances being characters like a silent voice. That's the Robbie tone of voice I'm used to. I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
This is definitely very different for him playing a teenager.
Yes.
And he drops pretty low on his register, too, which is something I'm not really used to. I would have... If you had told me this was like Jonas Scott, I would have believed you.
I'm getting a handle of Jonah's tone of voice, so no. If someone told me this was Jonah, I would have been like, fuck you, you're lying. No, but going back to Fire Emblem for a hot second, it weirdly helps that I'm actually in the midst of the Black Eagles route, because Fushiguro is a less menacing sounding Hubert. Like, the tones are similar, except Fushiguro's a little bit higher in the register. But the manner of speaking and and how he carries himself can be kind of similar to Hubert in Three Houses. Like, that's the best comparison I can think of. But at the same time, Fushiguro doesn't want to deal with this bullshit. He has to deal with fucking Itadori, Nobara, and a lot of Gojo's horseshit.
My friend Robin once mentioned that he had concocted a weird, like, JJK skate mashup in his head because he was watching both at the same time.
Oh,
it's
no.
like, I don't know anything about skate to comment,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't imagine a scenario where Yuji tries to pull a sick kickflip and eat shit.
Yep.
And Nobara and Gojo laugh at him, and Megumi just rolls his eyes because this is the people he elects to hang out with, isn't it? These people.
But it's also just like,
accurate.
I don't want to look for a new friend group. I can put up with them.
Exactly.
It's too much
It's
work.
like, you're annoying, but I like you all too much to leave, so, oh well.
I guess I'll stay.
Because it has been brought up by people on the internet, because of course it has. At first glance, he does kind of look like a Sasuke wannabe, and he is and he is pretty antisocial, but we do learn very quickly that he has a good head on his shoulders. He's
has some sense.
And while he is prickly about it, you can tell that he does value Yuji as a friend, so he's definitely not a Sasuke.
See,
I can believe he cares about Yuji. I do not believe Sasuke cares about Naruto.
See, this is the first time I'm hearing about the argument of comparing Fushiguro to Sasuke, and I'm like, no, I don't see it. I don't.
I feel like there's an argument that Akamatsu he definitely read Naruto, and I feel like there's something there, but it's kind of like, I like this vague character dynamic. I'm gonna write it the way I want to write it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accurate.
This has strong, like, oh, I'm getting where's my old Naruto fanfiction? What can I drag out of this what can I drag out of this that I'll enjoy writing again?
Like,
that's amazing.
He draws a little bit from, like, Sasuke. He draws a little bit from, like, Uryu Ishida and Bleach.
Kind of.
Like,
I guess he pulls from, like, some of the big shonen titles,
right.
I guess.
I mean, it feels like that thing of, like, I like that sort of, you have the loud guy in the main protagonist group and the quiet guy, and they're often at odds. But what if they were actually friends? What if they actually got along?
Yeah, they, like, Fushiguro and Itadori actually have, like, a mutual understanding of each other and their motivations and all that fun stuff. Because Fushiguro, we learn more about Fushiguro's deal a little bit more in the last, like, 3 episodes. To which, fucking hell, Robbie.
oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Because Fushiguro because he is so goddamn reserved, and he tries to, like, work with everybody else and not, like, not necessarily cause issues, but, like, he tries to find the best case scenario and all this fun stuff.
And then you isolate him.
And then you isolate him. And then, like, he had talked to Gojo. It was in between the sister school exchange and their mission here. And he's asked Gojo to help him train, which is a very big rarity, first of all. And Gojo's like, just let yourself go and just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you don't have to hold back for somebody else's sake. And then it's like, oh boy, does he? Oh boy. And then I think this is the first time he manifests his domain expansion. It's incomplete, but...
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, that was intense. I can't wait to see how that develops in future seasons.
Like, no, yeah, like, Robbie got to, like, let go a little bit. Because, like, that's the first time you really, like, heard Fushiguro, like, laughing maniacally and all this fun shit. It's like, whoa. It's like, where did this come from?
And, I could be wrong here, but I think that's actually the first time one of the actual, Jujutsu Tech students, definitely in the Tokyo branch, but I think it also extends outward, but I think that's the first time one of them actually opens up a domain expansion over the course of the show.
As far as we...
we don't see any other user domain. Like,
technically, Miwa has a slight expansion kind of thing.
Right.
Miwa's the only other one that has something to that effect, but it's not a full-fledged domain expansion either.
Yeah, I mean, Todo can probably do it, but like he
Probably.
But it's mentioned that he like barely uses his curse technique to begin with, so
Yeah. Yeah, Todo probably can do it.
And it's one of those.
I wouldn't be surprised that Inumaki could potentially be close to one, if not already.
Yeah,
I could believe that.
It's interesting to me as an observation because I view sort of the domain expansion ability as sort of Jujutsu Kaisen's play on like the Bankai and Bleach, where it's like the
for sure.
the ultimate expansion of one's ability.
Yeah. And they make a point in the show, because this applies to Nanami as well, not all Jujutsu sorcerers will end up developing a domain expansion.
Right.
Nanami never got to that point. So, it's very interesting, but holy fuck!
Yeah, the scene where he opens it up is intense.
Robbie just goes.
Just that cackle.
Oh my god. I was like, fuck.
He's letting loose.
Like,
it almost looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that was one of the big points that Gojo was trying to get across. Is like, you could just go for it, dude. Like, you don't have to, like, hold back. It's fine. Like, let loose. And then he does. It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good scene. I also will say that while like it had a little quieter in nature, I did kind of like his whole thing in episodes 4 and 5, where they're like, in a detention center with the juvenile prisoners. And like he and Yuji are having that whole moral debate about like whether or not they should save the prisoners.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one too.
So, I thought Robbie's delivery there was really good. He definitely got a good sense of like what Fujiguro's very specific set of morals are and how they kind of contrast against Yuji.
At the same time, though, you also that's where they kind of first have a general understanding of each other as well, because Fushiguro, while he's escaping to find Nobara, who has fucking disappeared at this point, he grabs the name tag of one of the inmates and returns it to his mother. So, and he was like, I'm sorry, we couldn't recover the body, but this is the best I could do. So it's a very interesting and mutual understanding between both Fushiguro and Itadori about, like, their motivations and their reasonings as to, like, how to treat people, in a sense.
And not only that,
It's very interesting.
They start to meet each other halfway with Fushiguro with the name tag, and then Itadori realizing that, oh, you can't actually save everyone.
Right. That becomes a big thing for him in the next arc with Nanami.
So, I also did appreciate like when they're having that whole debate, and like he was just like, well, why did you save me then? And then at the very end where like Megami says like, you know, like even after all this, I never once regretted saving you, and like Robbie's delivery just made that sound really sincere, and I appreciated that.
Yeah. I love it. I love Fushiguro a lot. Like, you would think he's the normal, like, edgelord, like, emo type of character, but he's not. He's more well-rounded than you think. And Robbie just nails it. I love it.
Again, he's kind of an antisocial kid, but he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a nice boy.
Oh yeah, he's a good boy. Fushiguro's a good boy. Puts up with so much fucking shit. Now
let's switch gears a bit and talk about Nobara, who is a lot.
So, I'm going to admit something here.
Okay.
I was not initially sold on Anyako's Nobara.
I actually can agree with that sentiment.
It felt very rough in the first couple of episodes she was introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it really kind of evens out during the sister school competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then those last 3 episodes.
Oh, where you really get to see what she can do.
I think that was the point that Anne really found Nobara in herself. And,
yes. Yep.
And was just able to unleash it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nobara a lot going into this. I think she's a fun character. I think the two parts that I think are really good are her little speech about like, the Jujutsu world's very sexist. I like to be pretty, and I also like to fight.
Yes.
Like, I'm not I don't care.
That's her interaction with Momo, I think, right?
Yeah. And then her bit in last episode where it's like, oh, you put your blood in me, and just starts hammering nails into her wrist, and it's like, you are so fucking metal. Oh my god.
Nobara has zero chill. She does not care.
You are amazing, and I think especially in that moment, I feel like Anne really, like, oh, this is where I can really play into this. Like,
oh my god, so good.
The leads of the show are all a little distressingly unhinged when you think about it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Again, they say in the very beginning, to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, you have to be a little bit fucking crazy.
Yep.
And it's very true of Nobara. No, Anne is, oh my god. Like, I will agree with I 100% agree with Patrick. In the beginning, Anne was a little bit rough for me in the starting episodes, but she definitely grows into it, and, like, by the time we got to the end of the series, where she is basically the baddest bitch in the fucking room, holy shit did she sell it.
Yeah, at that point, I'm just like, okay, I want more of this show so I can see more of this.
Yes. She's a badass. It's amazing. She has, like, Nobara has this, like, tomboyish tone and flair to her, if that makes sense. And it comes across rather well, I think, because she can, like, step up and be on the same level as the boys, no fucking problem. But again, she and Itadori share Fushigoro's brain cells, so not the brightest bulb in the bunch either, but it's great. And oh my god, her motivations for leaving to go to Tokyo, they're a little bit silly. A little silly, but it's also kind of sweet, considering the childhood friend that moved to her backwoods country from a big city, and then they get teased and all that fun shit. But Nobara's just like, those guys are assholes. She's awesome.
I was like, that whole thing does come back up again later.
Yay.
Let's see, what notes that I have on Nobara. I will say that, like, having also watched the show in Japanese, as I will say, and Nobara does sound like noticeably lighter than what Asami Seto was doing in Japanese. And admittedly, between the two, I kind of maybe lean towards Asami Seto's Nobara a little more, but I do think that Nobara gets, like, and gets Nobara's personality across pretty well. And while she's higher pitched, I do appreciate the touch that, like, whenever she's, like, really irritated about something, you can actually hear her voice drop a couple of octaves, which is definitely a nice touch.
Yep. When Nobara's pissed, she gets fucking pissed. She also likes to fucking poke at people and instigate shit as well, and is very stupid when she does. Which is part of her charm, though.
More or less.
More or less, yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, and again, like, the deciding moment for me was definitely her delivery during that whole fight with Momo, where, she said she doesn't really give any two cents about the male patriarchy and whatnot, and just enjoys being herself, which is definitely a very refreshing thing to hear from a female character in Jump manga, because, I mean, okay, we've read Jump manga at this point, we know what the track record is.
Yeah.
More, yeah.
I mean, we've brought up Bleach and Naruto plenty already. See, could be better.
I will also say that while it's definitely on the quieter end, I did really appreciate her delivery during that whole conversation it has with Yuji in the last episode, where, like, Yuji asked her how she feels about having killed someone for the first time, and her saying that, like, she understands that there are only so many people she can save, and how, like, and how there are only so many people in her life that can be important to her, and I thought that Anne got that across pretty well. Mm-hmm. And also just, like, this little bit in the middle where she's like, oh, that where, like, she's talking about the whole bus seat metaphor, and how, like, well, there are some people like you who just bring in their own bus seat, And like, oh, she does care, that's nice.
Yeah, it's true. Nobara is Nobara is a person that exists. She's a badass. Oh my god. Like, cause aside from her fight with Momo, the only other time we actually see her fight is when she's introduced. And we only get like a small introduction to what she can do. And how she is. But holy fuck. The end of the show, where she and Itadori team up and basically fight these two frickin' curses. Well, not...
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are notably not curses, which is why I brought that up.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're not curses, they're things. It's the right way to put it, I guess.
I think
Like,
they're like
holy
curse-possessed people.
Yeah, pretty much. Notably, they are brothers. There's also a third brother who's like hanging with the curse gang. Who briefly shows up in the last episode and will be very important next season.
Yeah, he destroys a little Game of Life car.
And I don't know.
He was very upset about it.
Yep. Mahito is very mad. He's like, why'd you do that? And I think this person is voiced by fucking same actor as someone we're gonna talk about in a minute. It sounds very much like him. I'm gonna say that. I don't know if it is him.
Oh, the third brother?
It very much sounds like him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's him.
That's
Oh, it is? Okay. It's Sukuna.
Yeah.
It's fucking Sukuna.
Oh, I thought
again. Like,
Jonas
no.
Scott announced that was him.
No, it was Sukuna's actor. You mentioned it.
No. I heard it, I'm like, oh, here we go again. More double casting. Fuck. It's fine.
So we talked about these two kids. Let's get to probably the star of this section. One, Satoru Gojo, who is again, he's Satoru Gojo.
And I heard this performance described as, Osamu Dazai, and no, it's hard to describe. It's
okay. It is Osamu Dazai, but Gojo just gives even less of a fuck.
There we go.
Okay, it is the
And
same.
Dazai
Yeah,
does.
it is the same tone of voice, but he is like a much more nonchalant character.
I feel like you can argue a little bit personality-wise, Dazai and Gojo are kind of similar in some aspects.
At least
in the trolling aspects, they're kind of similar. Because Dazai does fuck with everyone at the Armed Detective Agency like crazy.
Right.
So
yeah, but I feel like Dazai kind of like buys into his own quirks a little more, whereas Gojo is just very clearly putting on an act because he thinks it's fun.
yeah, it's true. I mean, Dazai technically puts on an act as well a little bit. Because he's hiding he's hiding the fact that he used to work for the Port Mafia, so kind of they're pretty similar, I think. But oh my god, just because they're similar doesn't make Keiichi Tang as Gojo any less amazing.
Oh, right. I just got to think of it, and Gojo is kind of like Dazai if he were also an absolute anarchist.
Yes! Yes! Gojo is all about death to the patriarchy, like, it's not even funny. Like, it's so great. I love it.
I want to be in charge so I can burn it all down.
Yes. Fuck your rules.
He is like...
Fuck your rules. Here, Itadori, eat a finger.
I think like his very specific explanation was like, I thought about burning it all down, but no one would follow me, so that's why I'm in education.
Yep. It's great. Fucking Gojo gives 0 shits. It's not that he has no chill. He just doesn't fucking care. It's great. Love it. Again, Gojo is similar to Osamu Dazai, but even more like fuck your shit up than Osamu Dazai. Oh my god. It's great. I love it. Like, if this isn't perfect casting, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I do definitely appreciate there's just this very high sense of confidence in Keiji's tone from, like, the second he opens his mouth, this is a man who just, he knows how strong he is, and he just rolls with it.
Oh yeah. He's like, I'm the strongest one out there, and he puts up. He does not shut up. He puts up. Like, not even joking. Like, he's... You either nut up or shut up, he nuts up. That's Gojo. Oh, man. It's great. Oh, I love Keiichi. Let's Gojo. Oh.
Yeah. He also just gets a lot of really fun one-liners that are also weirdly to show in Japanese, oddly enough, and it's great.
My guy.
Yeah. I think one I specifically enjoy. I think it was like he was talking with either the principal or Nanami. I think it was like after the whole Junpei thing, where he's just sitting around bored. He's like, "Oh man, we should get down here and go trolling and talk about economic policies."
His conversation with Nanami. Oh, I know. Let's talk about all the things you like about Gojo. I'll go first. Everything. And Nanami was like, "Do you ever shut up?" It's great. Gojo gives 0 fucks. It's so fucking great. But he also sees the potential of all of the students, particularly the first years as well, so he knows. He's like, they're gonna go beyond what normal Jujutsu sorcerers are gonna be like, so y'all better fucking stop being stupid. Down with the patriarchy. Anarchy. Gojo is fucking anarchy incarnate. God, you're not. Patrick's right, he's fucking anarchy. Like, Jesus. I'm sorry, I love it. I love it so much. Gojo is a troll. He's a troll. An anarchist, basically. Doesn't give a single fuck. And he also nuts up instead of shuts up. Like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like... It's amazing. I love Keiichi Tang in this.
It definitely is very odd. This guy would work in education, but he does care about his students in his own way. Clearly,
in his own way. Yup, in his own way, he does. Oh god, I'm dying of laughter. This whole episode is Steph just dying of laughter over the weirdest of shit. Christ.
In your defense, it's a weird show.
It is. I mean, when you have fucking Todo, Nanami, Panda, fucking the king of all of this weird ass shit, Satoru Gojo. God. I'm sorry I cut you off, Mama.
No, it's fine. I don't want to say this is going to be my favorite Kaji Tang role, period. Because I haven't played Yakuza 7 yet, and everything I've heard about Yakuza 7 suggests that might be the Kaji Tangiest character ever made.
His character in that game is great. He's amazing.
Yeah, but he's really good here. I think he clearly just understands, like, Gojo being both, like, a caring mentor figure, and also just an enormous troll who will tell you he hates your guts to your face.
Oh yeah,
because he is whatever any worry he had about that died out long ago.
Oh, he gives 0 fucks.
And I want to take this moment to highlight one of my favorite Juju Stroll segments, which I think might be the last one in the show. I can't remember. Is the one where it starts with Nobara and Gojo just hanging out, being too hot, and then Yuki runs over and is like, "A woman's heading on Megami," and they all cause problems.
Yes.
And it's just delightful that what ends up being just like some random lady asked if he knew where the station was becomes all three of them pretending to be his jilted lovers.
And then with Gojo, oh no. Gojo's like, "I'm sorry, Megumi, it is time for violin lessons," and he's just like this hot, like, tutor or some shit. It's like, oh my god, Gojo
looking like that.
Gojo would pull that out.
Yeah, I love how he just says in the sexiest voice possible, "We're going to go back and play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star."
It's fucking great.
They're all very good in that segment, but Kaji is the best in that segment.
I love Gege. He's so
Unfortunately, I skipped some of the Jujutsu Scroll segments, so I think this was one of them I missed.
You never
you
skip the
should-
Juju Strolls. This
When-
one
when
is 23, I think.
If you have like an hour or two to kill, like do yourself a favor, go back and watch them. There's some comedy gold.
I only have like 5 that I didn't watch, so and unfortunately, I think this one was one of them.
I think it was 23 is
Yeah.
the episodes. You should go back and watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Fucking
That's like-
Keiichi just kills me.
Yeah, I will say that while Gojo trolled a lot of characters, I think a lot of Keiichi's best work here is just all the moments where he's just trolling Principal Boomer.
Yes. Yes. Because he fucking hates him.
I think the funnest moment in particular is like the bit where it's a bit where like he's telling Yuji, where he's giving Yuji this whole like elaborate setup about how to mention to everyone the fact that he is in fact not dead like they all thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes up with like this very specific way, just like showing him off in front of everyone. And I love how when he does that, everyone's like shocked that Yuji's alive. Like you see Satoru just like flashing look at Principal Boomer, who just looks like breakfast was canceled.
Oh my god. We have fun here.
You know, I think that this gets down to one of the things I really like about this show is that it has a really distinct, wicked sense of humor that I'm not used to seeing in big shonen titles.
Oh
and
yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely. I love it.
that it has that made its way into the anime and that it has found extreme success even with that.
Yes.
Or perhaps because of that. It makes me happy.
I love it. I fucking love it. I'm sorry, Jen. That was too fucking good. I can't stop laughing. Fuck. Fuck, I can't. Oh god. Shit.
Sorry, kids. Back in the car. Disneyland's canceled. Itadori survived.
Oh no.
Shit. Oh no. No Disneyland. Oh my god. Fuck. Ooh, I'm okay, I think.
Alright,
Breakfast is cancelled, kids. No! I'm sorry. I'm tired. Oh no.
it's fine.
Thankfully, we're almost done.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's getting late, so we finally should get into our final 2 characters of the evening.
Oh god. Ah,
Alright.
yes.
Alright, so it is time to talk about our main character and our main antagonist who weirdly happen to be sharing the same body. We have Yuji Tadori and Ryo Mitsuka. So Yuji is an ordinary high school boy with superhuman strength who gets dragged into one of Megami's missions, and in an attempt to save him, eats one of Sukina's fingers and becomes his vessel, making him the target of curses and some of the higher-ups in the Jujutsu world. He doesn't have a curse technique, but he can just punch things really, really hard with his curse energy.
Yeah, basically.
Ryoma Tsukuna, on the other hand, is a legendary Jujutsu sorcerer who was once known as the King of Curses, and possessed so much energy that when he died, the sorcerers could not destroy his body completely. And so 20 of his fingers, yes, he has 20 fingers, somehow.
Just go with it.
Yeah, they so abandoned the world, and basically he wants enough of the fingers gathered that he can eventually take over Yuji's body, and basically he has no specific motivation, he just kind of wants to go nuts and watch the world burn, because why not?
Yeah. You think Gojo likes anarchy, like, Sukuna just wants to watch the fucking world burn. Like...
Yeah. He also has some weird, unexplained interest in Megumi's development, but we don't know why yet.
Yeah. He's just very interested in Fushiguro right now, as far as we know of.
Playing Sukuna, we have Ray Chase, who was no stranger to anime, and has played such characters as Keith Kazuma Flick in Be the Beginning, Ertigan and Carol and Tuesday, Corazon in One Piece, and Gendo Ikari in the VSI dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And playing Yuji, we have Adam McArthur, who conversely is a stranger to anime. In fact, this was his first anime role. However, he's definitely not a stranger to voice acting, and he's going to work in prelay animation, specifically for Western animation. And some of his work there includes Prince, Lee Char in Star Wars and Clone Wars, Ashen and Big City Greens, and most notably Marco Diaz from Star versus the Forces of Evil.
But he is starting to get a little bit more into anime, so...
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Shadow's House.
It was definitely very surreal when we just cast switch for the first time. Like, you see all these actors in anime roles, and then, like, next to him was just from Star versus the Forces of Evil.
No, like, the whole thing I said earlier, where it's a very weird reversal of, like, because anime voice actors, usually the next step for them is getting into prelay, but now it's the opposite with Adam and with a few other people. It's like, what the fuck is happening? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I really like it, but holy shit, it's weird.
It is weird, and we should start with Free Chase and Sukuna, because Sukuna is a lot.
Sukuna is a lot.
I'm going to talk a little bit about them together, because honestly, the dynamic between Yuji and Sukuna is that classic Vine video. Hey, what do you want for lunch? The souls of the innocent. A bagel! No! 2 bagels!
I've never heard of that before. That's great.
But yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong, but...
Sukuna, just in isolation, is just this great sort of... You know, Ray Chase was a good choice, because he can go absolutely hammy. And he is just this ridiculously evil, smug as shit, just... Like, he's an asshole, for the sake of being an asshole.
Yeah, I will say I definitely appreciate that he has, like, this kind of nice raspiness to his tone that kind of sounds like... That kind of sounds weirdly like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, but maybe, like, a little more polished, which is...
Okay.
Which is definitely very odd, because... do you want to know who plays this character in Japanese?
Who?
Junichi Suwabe.
You're kidding.
Yes. No, I remember seeing this. I'm like, oh boy.
I can see it.
Oh man.
And it definitely does sound. And it definitely does sound like, you know, your typical Junichi Suwabe role. That it sounds, you know, incredibly suave and sexy, which is definitely not a thing you would ever associate with Sukuna.
I'm gonna say this because I love how y'all are mentioning like how Ray kind of seems like very menacing and dark, but also hammy. I know Jet, I think, will definitely appreciate this, because I think he was on the episode with us, with me for this. Ray Sukuna is, if you take... Ray is... So if you took the dark and crazy parts of Sukuna and just made it even more hammy, you want to know what you fucking get? You get Sobnok Sabura from Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. This is like tone of voice, a lot of personality, almost near identical. It's just that Sobnok is more of a dumbass and more hammy for Ray, and it's great. It's like a very hammy Shakespeare villain as Andrew just appears around the corner drinking water, just giggling. Like, he can agree with me. He could agree with me on this.
Yeah. I will say, like, Ray Chase has a lot of range, and
yes,
and he can do a lot of different voices, and but I kind of have gradually gotten used to him. And lately he gets cast as a lot of like middle-aged dudes a lot. So while he does have a lot of range, you can usually tell it's him a lot of the time these days.
Yeah.
This was definitely a very different role for him. Like, I have never heard him sound like this before.
Oh, I fucking love it though. It is so dark and menacing. It's so juicy sounding. It's like, oh, I love it. I fucking love it. Like, I've gotten a lot more accustomed to Ray as an actor as well over the years. He can do some amazing things. Like, for me, my absolute favorite role that Ray has ever done is Bucciarati in JoJo Golden Wind, but this is up there now. Like, this is downright sinister, and like, I said this earlier when we were talking about Lucien as Mahito, Sukuna has no chill and gives zero fucks.
Like,
he wants to watch the world burn!
He is absolutely deviled ham here.
Yeah, okay, but he is awful. He clearly knows he is, and he just rolls with it.
Mm-hmm. The first thing he talks about when you are introduced to Sukuna is how he wants to find all of the women and children and do unspeakable things to them. It's like, oh boy! If that's an introduction for Sukuna right there, I don't know what else is.
I also like the one bit again when like in the Juvenile Detention Center, and he's like fighting this one like special curse grade. So he takes over Yuji's body, and he's like thinking of a good way to screw with him. So he realized the best scenario would be to team up with the special curse grade to just like fight Megami. So he turns to the special grade. He's like, "Yo, let's go kill some kids."
Yeah. and the special grade's just in there like very confused. And he's just like, okay, no, this guy's an enemy, right? And then Sukuna's just like, no, bad idea, fucker, and just kills him. like, Gojo may not have any chill. Sukuna is, like, the pure fucking definition of having zero chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh god, his interactions with Mahito. Ooh, sweet baby Jesus. It's like, alright, we had a fun laugh at this punk's expense, but if you try and pull this shit again, like, I wouldn't if I were you. And then he just, by accident, Mahito accidentally touches Sukuna's soul, and he's like, I fucking warned you. Stay out. I'm gonna cut a bitch, and he does. Like,
what I'll tell you about my shed?
Ray is genuinely terrifying as Sukuna. I fucking love it. I love it. Like, more, please. Like, oh, man. Oh, I keep gushing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
Man, something occurred to me and I can't remember what it is, and I'm sad.
I'm sorry. I keep gushing and talking. I'm sorry.
I was like, that's cool.
Fucking. Oh my god. Oh, all of these characters are so great. I love them.
And, you know,
oh man.
coming back around.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt sort of in the same not quite as pronounced, but in a similar situation to Nobara, I think it took Adam a couple episodes to figure out what he wanted to do with Itadori.
Yeah, I can agree with that too.
Yeah. Again, this was his first time doing anime in general, when he is a crew-light actor mostly. So I think like he might have had a little trouble just like getting used to, the ins and outs and like ADR work, because again, ADR work is very, very different from doing crew-light animation.
Yeah.
But I feel like after like maybe the first couple of episodes, he definitely got more of a handle on it. And I'd say definitely by the time we get to the whole prison thing, he definitely has a better handle on it. And I think like specifically that whole scene where he realizes he's about to die and he starts flipping out is where I think Adam like really got the character.
Yeah.
I kind of would argue more with the stuff with Junpei personally. Like his interactions with Junpei, and just that's a better, like, I think by that point he definitely has a really good understanding of Itadori's character, and I think he from then on, for me anyway, he shines a lot. And especially, oh fuck, Mahito again. When Mahito fucking basically kills Junpei and Itadori loses his fucking shit.
Oh,
Adam
yeah.
really shined on that one. For sure.
Like, this is a
But
really...
I can agree that it was rough to start.
It's a really interesting thing watching the course of the show, and you can actually see Adam progressing as a sort of ADR/dubbing actor as he goes from arc to arc.
Oh yeah. Like, he's growing, like, he's growing in terms of, like, learning how to do dubs and adaptations, and he's also having Itadori grow as a character, which actually works out nicely. So, I really like it. Like, it's... What did I freaking say about Adam? Weirdly enough, he has a tone of voice that's kind of different than some of your more typical anime protags, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that actually, I think I wrote that in my notes too. Like, it definitely sounds a lot more casual and down to earth than like the kind of more, like, very refined tone you sort of expect from shonen protags.
It's a bit more of a casual, sort of cartoonish, but not like cartoonish, I mean just like Western animation-ish voice to him.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like, it's not the normal tone of voice that you would typically associate in a shonen protagonist. And I don't dislike it. Like, it was rough in the beginning, but yeah, it grew on me, and I'm like, okay, I actually really like this. Like, let me have something similar to this in some of my shonen anime. Like, this is nice. I like it. I enjoy it. I also enjoy the fact that Adam's doing a little bit more anime now, too. I enjoy that. I just met his character in Shadow's house. Like, it's very different.
I like the interaction between him and Megumi and Nobara and Gojo. Like, I think all of them play off each other really well.
Yeah, they really do.
I just like he's good at being very, like, energetic. Like, I feel like I don't see shonen protagonists who are quite this, like... It's that thing where, like, Yuji's a loner, but he's also very popular. Like, everyone likes Yuji once they get to meet him. Like, he becomes friends with everybody very, very quickly. And I think Adam captures that very well. He feels like a guy you would want to be friends with. Who just seems like, this is just a nice, solid dude who wants to be good to people and do good.
I also do appreciate that, like, I also do appreciate he had, like, a very interesting set of motivation compared to, what your typical show protagonist would want. Like, instead of, wanting to be the best at whatever it is he's doing, his very specific goal here is something he got from his grandfather right before he died, which is to help other people so that when he dies, he will be surrounded by others.
Yeah, he wants to he wants to do good things that by the time he dies, it's a proper death. The words proper death keep popping up a lot for Itadori over the whole course of the show. Like, cause that's his thing, is like making, is this the kind of proper death that I would want for this person? Like, his motivations are very different than normal protagonists, you're right.
Yeah, and it definitely does come to a very interesting head, like, again, when he took with Mahito, when, like, all the people he's transformed, and then he has to, like, take a life for the first time and come to terms with that. Mm-hmm. And then I think the conversation he has with Nanami afterwards is very interesting. It's like where Nanami's like, I don't really know what a proper death would be, because, like, you know, even if all good people died appropriately and all bad people were punished, the reality is that most people aren't all good or all evil, and I thought that was a very interesting conversation.
No, yeah, for sure. It's a very poignant conversation for Itadori in his development. Because before that point, he was very set on, like, trying not to, like, kill another person. But then at that point, he was basically forced to. It's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely very curious to see where that's headed. But yeah, Adam definitely seems to have a pretty good handle on what he's doing so far. Yeah. I really do like how much he grew into the role at the time.
Can I point out for a hot second, his interactions with Sukuna are great. Like, the two of them bicker. It's fucking great. Oh my god. When Itadori dies... and we have them just inside, essentially, Sukuna's domain. And... Again, Itadori shares a brain cell between him, Nobara, and Fushiguro. And Sukuna's like, alright, I'll tell you what. If you can beat me, then we will agree to a deal where we don't have those conditions, you call the shots. And he's like, deal, and then... It's like, no.
Immediately gets his head sliced in half.
It's like, you fucking dumbass. Why do you step to Sukuna like that?
I'm not sure he even finished saying what he was saying.
No.
Before it happened.
No, he did not. He did not. Pretty sure. Like, Itadori has wonderful intentions. He has very good intentions. He's an idiot. Fucking idiot. And oh man, him and Sukuna's interactions where Sukuna's just like instigating the fuck out of him too. It's, oh my god, I love it. I love it.
Okay, now I remember the sentiment I was going to bring up, which is we have mentioned Naruto briefly, but usually Sukuna's relationship is basically like, what if the Nine Tails was actually just evil and horrible? Like. It's remove the whole bit about Naruto and the Nine Tails eventually becoming friends. Like, none of that here. Like, this Nine Tails is just really awful.
Oh my god.
Because I mean, in Naruto, like, the Nine-Tailed Fox was just like a malevolent nature spirit.
Yeah.
Like, let's take that and make it just like a very, like, actually malevolent human being. Or human-ish.
Sukuna is a thing that exists, and Sukuna just has zero chill and gives zero fucks.
And yeah, their interactions are great.
No, yeah, it's so much fun. He bugs the shit out of Itadori.
Yeah, I do think their whole bit at the end of the last episode was, like, pretty interesting.
Yes.
That's where he's basically just mocking you, like, oh, did you want to save a bunch of people? But a whole bunch of people are going to die because of you, and he's just laughing at him.
Oh, yeah. He's, like, really, like, instigating and poking fun at Itadori. And Itadori's doing his best to, like, keep his cool. He's like, you can just shut up, shove it up your ass. Basically, he's basically telling Sukuna to shove it at that point. It's like, fuck off, bro.
Yep.
Step off, man. Oh my god. It's so fun.
Adam and Ray, backup job.
Love it. Love it.
So with that, I think we're good to move into final thoughts.
Yay!
This went long, but about as long as I expected for this kind of show.
Yeah, all things considered. AKA Steph goes in rambling giggle fest mode. Fuck. I'm sorry. Oh shit.
So this is a pretty solid show. It's definitely a pretty interesting manga. Admittedly, I wasn't that into it the first time I tried reading it, but second time around, I kind of got a better idea what it's going for, and the anime definitely kind of addressed a lot of the problems I sort of had with how the manga paced things and was structured. So in general, it's a pretty good time, and I definitely enjoyed the dub quite a bit. More so on my second rewatch, surprisingly.
Yeah, the show itself, it wears a lot of sort of the mid-2000s Shonen Jump manga on its sleeve, the references to them. And at the same time, it sort of carries over the sensibilities of this generation's Shonen Jump favorites. And I think it does that balancing act a lot better than some of its contemporary counterparts. As for the dub, it is... I haven't watched a lot of sort of the Crunchyroll dubs, so it actually kind of came as a surprise to me at how solid this was. Just as a complete package. A couple actors took a little while to get their footing into their characters, but otherwise, everybody put their best foot forward, and it is it's very watchable. I was actually able to watch this in large chunks, which is something I'm not really able to do with a lot of shows. So I attribute that a lot to the sort of brisk pacing of the show, as well as the actual quality of the dub. Because the show, it moves faster than, like, a chapter and episode pace, like, say, a Black Clover. But at the same time, like, you can do sort of getting through 60, 70 episodes in a 2-course series really well. Or you can pull a Hakio Hoshinengi and do, like, a volume every episode where you have literally no idea what's going on.
That sounds lovely.
Oh, it is! And by it
show.
is, I mean it absolutely isn't.
I never watched it, so...
I watched an episode, I was very confused and noped out.
You're just like, Jet's just like, nope, I'm out.
The dub is good, I just don't like the show. Anyway, that's not something I can say about Jujutsu Kaisen. It's great. I recommend it.
Do you have anything to add, Amon?
This show's delightful. It's a lot of fun. It is wild, as people on my part of the internet say. I don't know. Pair it with your favorite weird midnight movie that doesn't make a lot of sense. That has fighting in it. No, this is a lot of fun. I think the dub's really well put together. I think this is a really fun show. It looks really pretty. It has a lot of just interesting creative decisions, both in the dubs and kind of like the direction of the animation that I really appreciated seeing. This is nice. Like, this will be my favorite shonen anime until 4 to 6 months from now.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, speaking of the animation, I did not bring it up before, but I've thought about it a few times. I'm legitimately impressed that they somehow managed to make the final battle in the season literally a butt rock AMV. Like literally the music, exactly how the fighting is timed, like, it's amazing.
That is just amazing. Oh my god.
In, like, episode 19, that fight, holy shit.
Like, they didn't skimp on the fight sequences, that's for dang sure.
No.
Ooh.
And it's just
Thank
like...
you, Mappa.
You know... The woes that sort of came out of... You know, the stuff that we're starting to learn about Mappa and its production woes aside...
Yeah.
Like, I watched episode 19, and that huge-ass fight sequence, and it's just like, the guy who directed the sequence is gonna be doing Chainsaw Man in the next couple of months.
I'm excited for that.
And this is just like, I felt the same way learning that as when, Garo the Animation aired, and that really great fight sequence between Leon and God, what's his name? Justin Briner.
Alfonso, I think it is?
Alfonso. Like, that really great sword fight sequence they have, and then that guy who directed that was doing the new season of Garo, like, a couple years later. It was that same kind of feeling.
Vanishing Line?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's funny you bring that up, because guess who directed this show?
That guy.
Yeah.
Surprise! Oh, man.
But yeah, it's actually really... sorry.
I was gonna say, it is also particularly interesting that guy, Sugo Park, is Korean, so it's definitely very interesting he got to work on something this big.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's pretty fucking cool, if you ask me.
But it's just like, I get it now. I get why people get excited when, you know, a guy who directs a really cool action sequence for an episode gets to go on and get a crew together to do another big series.
I guess that kind of leaves me a little.
Anything else you want to add?
I'll try and be quick. I am fucking surprised at how solid this is, considering this is, from my understanding, the first Crunchyroll produced dub for a shonen series. Like, in a major shonen series at that. Like, this was a very big surprise. It's very solid. My one gripe is about the double-triple casting situation, but I have a suspicion that's more on the studio. That's not necessarily the fault of the director. I don't know the logistics or the behind-the-scenes stuff at that point. That's really my one major gripe. But holy shit. The fact that I don't have a favorite performance speaks volumes as to how solid the dub of this actually is.
Yeah.
The fact that I don't have a favorite character speaks volumes about the show and how much fun it fucking is. Like, it's a joy. I love it. It's so much fun. I want more, please. Okay, thanks. Please. No.
Well, thankfully, we'll probably be getting more for the foreseeable future because the manga blew up very much because of the anime.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's what I heard, too. The manga just fucking skyrocketed, so good for it.
Like the way, Kimetsu no Yaiba exploded specifically after episode 19, Jujutsu Kaisen has basically had that since the anime
had that
started.
Same thing, yeah.
So, yeah. It's not going anywhere.
I'm sensing a pattern here. But no, if you haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen yet, please do. Please do. It's really good. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so I guess that basically brings things to So we're up here. If you want to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, you can basically do so on Crunchyroll, both sub and dub. I'm pretty sure you can also find the dub on HBO Max.
That is correct. I attempted to watch it on HBO Max, my rewatch, but the app was being a piece of shit. So I switched to Verve.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay, yeah, it is also on Verve, because Verve has basically everything Crunchyroll.
Yep.
And if you want to follow anything that we do, we are the Dub Talk Podcast. So you can find us on YouTube, as well as we have audio only available on Podbean and Spotify. You can also find us on interwebs on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr is dead still.
And Twitch.
And Twitch we do live streams.
We've been doing shit. At the time of recording this, we made affiliate. Heck yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So if you'd like to support us, you can do so through a one-time donation through Ko-fi, or you can be one of our lovely patrons. And before we end things tonight, I'd like to give a shout out to some of our patrons. For our $5 tier, we have Megan's mom and dad, Miss L. Travis, Rockless Corazon, Nico Ramen with Yaoi Heads, Sweet Tweety, and Victor Maraboda. At $10 tier, we have Carla Lessicow, Christian Akenda, Jacob Wilson, Jared Hawkins, Julie W., Led Team, and Otaku Infinity. Thanks for all your support, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
You're awesome.
Yeah. So I would ask what you guys want to plug, but of course, since you're here, Amon, do you have a dusty old song for us?
Yes. This was hard, actually. I've had a good run of finding things that feel thematically appropriate. I was kind of stumped with this. Possibly because I don't listen to the kind of metal that would pair well with this kind of show. So instead, I went with a way more esoteric one. There's good music in this show. I'm a particularly big fan of the first OP. That's not the best song in the show. That's obviously the first ED. That didn't become a meme for no reason.
Yes. Also
but I like
true.
I like the song of the first OP. It's very math rocky. So I'm going to recommend to you my favorite math rock band, who are called Battles. They're a lot of fun. I've seen them in concert. They're excellent. My recommendation, since it's July, it's hot out, I recommend their song Ice Cream, which is very summery and also very complicated. If you like that, I'd also recommend their song Titanium Two-Step, which features the lead vocalist from No Wave Legends, Liquid Liquid. One of you out there will understand that, and you'll probably be happy you learn this information. You can go listen to that song. The rest of you, go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Anything you guys would like to plug real quick?
I'm on Twitter at AmonDuelUS. I tweet about stuff. Come hear me yell about City Pop and how great it is. You'll have fun.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm Patrick, aka Roots of Justice. You can find me on the Twitter.com at Roots of Justice, where I mainly retweet cute animal pics, talk general fandom stuff. Come on by. Have a good time. I'm also working on some solo stuff on the side. I know I keep saying that, but I really am, I promise. Hopefully I will have some updates in the near future.
Hello, my name is Stephanie. Sometimes people on the internet call me Lilac. You can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled R-E-V-U-E, where I don't know, I just do things, I guess. You can also check me out on my blog, Life and Times Otaku at lifeandtimesotaku.wordpress.com. I can talk today. Where I need to actually update and do things. And since we talked about the Dub Talk Twitch, I've been chilling and doing some gaming over there, so you can come hang out with me if you want. At the time of recording this, I've been doing doing streams on Thursdays, and at the time of this as well, Meg and I are going to start playing Okami on Saturdays, so don't know if we'll be done with the game by the time this episode comes out, but come hang out. We still are, I don't know.
Okay, as for me, I'm Jet. You can find me on Twitter at Gege, where I will usually be talking about cartoons or anime or comics or whatever. You can also find me on another Podcast O&A, where you will be shooting the breeze and talking about anime news alongside fellow Dub Talk host Andrew. That more or less wraps us up for today. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Of course. Thanks for bringing us along.
Yeah.
I believe we have exorcised this episode.
Ah, yes. It's gonna be a while before this actually comes out, but still.
Yeah.
We have time, thankfully. But yeah. Patrick, do me a solid. Don't go back to that floor jerky. Do me a solid. I hope you learned your lesson,
So
dude.
about that...
Patrick.
What now?
You're worse than a dog.
I shouldn't tell you what's currently in my mouth.
Patrick, really?
Oh, excuse me.
What is it this time?
I finished off the floor jerky.
Okay.
It was hickory. I'm starting to think it wasn't floor jerky. I think that was a hickory wood chip.
Oh, well, while we, I think we have to get him to the emergency room. Jet, you're gonna have to sign us off. Come on, Amon, we gotta get Patrick to the emergency room.
Alright, I guess we can take to the hospital.
Rock on Boston, rock over Chicago.
Have a good night, everybody. Come on, Patrick, it's time to go.
Oh, talk one step. Ow, that hurts.
Come on. No.
Come on, guys.
I'm gonna blame it yourself, Patrick.
Unhand
Get in
me.
the fucking...
I can get myself to the
car.
hospital, thank you.
Get in the fucking car. You're not driving, alright?
Fine.